ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. You tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Spotty Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando also Gary.
Jay Crowder ties it. The drive and kick by Butler, setting up Crowder, who has tripled twice in each of the first three games. And Bam from 17 buries it. Bam Adebayo. Dragic. Loose ball to Bam against Turner. The hook drops. Oh, it's an aggressive Bam Adebayo. Bam. Dotted line jumper. Drops it. Pacers by 2. Dragic almost lost it. The cutter Crowder for the score. Oh, Jay Crowder showing you how you can help your teammate out there. Pacers ahead by 3. The Hero buries the 3. Hero cuts in. Jones Jr. slams it. He climbed the ladder. Called Miles Turner. Hero is open. Nunn will fire. Kaboom. Oh, Kendrick Nunn, a gift wrap. First minute of entrance into his first NBA playoffs here. Hero putting it up over Turner, and Bam hammered it down. Kelly Olynyk showing extra effort to tap in his own miss. Tie game at 28. Olynyk maneuvering and hitting an off-balance shot over McDermott. Second score for Olynyk. Nice entry pass. That's a great way for Nunn to start. Do a fastball for an Olynyk layup. Oh, so happy for Kendrick Nunn. Contributor right from the jump. Here's Olynyk. Kaboom. Kelly Olynyk. 4 on the shot clock for Brogdon. He circles in. He missed it. Oh, the size of Olynyk bothered Brogdon, who's 2 for 7. Olynyk's open. Got it. Miami ahead by 6. Robinson cannot shake Holiday, but he found Bam for a two-handed crusher. Turner. Oh, he went barreling in the Butler. Offensive foul on Miles Turner, and
ball fake, step through in the three-pointer in the corner. Thorny had the lane, and Jimmy quickly gets to the spot.
Bam's best rebounding game in his 8 career playoff games. Oh, baseline. Butler for the two-hand throwdown. He left the defense in the dust. Final seconds of the third quarter. Butler. Dragic got it back and put it in. It should count. Up 7 with the ball, trying to close out the series. Dragic, yes. Goran Dragic to the rescue. 16 points, 13 in the second half. Hero finds Iguodala. First shot of the series in the fourth quarter for Andre, and he buries his only score of this game. A triple for Iguodala. Neither team has shot the 3-ball well today. Dragic, Bam pump faking and banking it home. 14 points, 15 rebounds for Bam Adebayo.
Wizardry of the Dragon, breaking down Turner. Little behind the back niftiness there, finding Bam.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the
Are you ready? Are you ready to rock and roll?
I know you are.
Damn right
I'm
ready.
Thought we were at Hialeah Racetrack. You're trying to freak out card players.
Yes. I don't even keep it going that long at Hialeah. Can't wait to go back to Hialeah. But anyway, welcome aboard. It's a sweep. Take out the brooms, bitch. Yeah. Heat get it done last night, 99-87. I expected a much more high-scoring game. That's why I lost that part of it. But we won, so the Heat end up 4-0. They sweep the Pacers. And you listen, I know it's cliche-ish and all that, but it is true. And especially when you're playing against a team of like the Sixers have no character, right? And that's because there is no culture there. And they're trying to build it. Indiana has a culture. They were missing their best player. Sabonis was out. You know, that's why Miami should handle the Pacers. It would have been a little bit more of a war if Sabonis is in there and Oladipo's 100%. I still think Miami wins 6 or 7 games, but I give Indiana a game or two at that point. I thought, you know what, young Heat team, they'll give up one game at least because it's really hard, to sweep teams unless you're that much more superior or your team is not prepared and mature enough, i.e. Sixers. And so Pacers, they have some pride, man, and they went out there and they played their asses off. But unfortunately, Miami's just better. And when you're a team that lives off the two, which is the Pacers, it's funny because this is what the problem with the Sixers is. They went with size. And they thought size and old-style basketball is going to win today. And you got to change, man. Life evolves, right? We have this virus now that has affected our lives. We have to adjust. There's going to be a new way of living. You're going to still eventually enjoy your life, but you're going to see how you're going to be a little bit more of a germaphobe because of this. 9/11 made us a little bit more careful, more alert at what your surroundings are. And then obviously there's a lot of red tape, let's say, we've got to deal with when we travel, right? These are all the things that you've adjusted to. You can't take the big bottle of shampoo anymore on your carry-on luggage, right? It's got to be under the, 3 ounces or whatever it is. So, that everything changes. You must adjust, right? And you've got to adjust with the game. And the Pacers did not adjust with the game. They don't have enough three-point shooters. And they led the league in two-point shooting this year. That's not going to help you, dude. If you're getting 2, the other team's getting 3, the math doesn't end up really working out. Okay? And he's the math major. I'm not. But I'm stupid, and I can figure that out. That if I get 2, you get 3, I'm at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? And the Sixers did the same thing. And so the Pacers, they tried on the back end of this series here, the last couple of games, to pick it up from 3, but it's not who they are. And then Miami's defense doesn't even allow you to get all the 2s you want. So then you were at a monster disadvantage, philosophically, athletically, and even talent-wise. So Miami won 4-0. They took care of business. I thought this series 5 at worst. Give Indiana a game. They didn't even let that, which tribute to the Heat, because as young as they are, I expect them to make all kinds of mistakes and be green in these kind of moments. And yet they were mature enough to stay on the course. We're kicking your ass 1-0. We're kicking your ass 2-0. We're not getting complacent. We're going to make it 3-0. We're not going to get complacent. We're going to finish your ass off. And they controlled the game. That's the other thing. It's not like it was a seesaw battle. No, Miami controlled the game. The entire game. And kudos to them, because that tells me they're a little bit more mature than even I expect them to be. Okay? Because I didn't expect them to be this mature. So impressive stuff, man. I can't say enough. Jimmy Butler may have injured that shoulder. Okay, I put out a tweet yesterday. I videoed him on the sidelines, and you could tell by his words that He said, "It hurts like a bitch." Okay, that was the quote there. I'm not a lip reader, but that was pretty obvious right there. If you go check out the video on my Twitter feed, hurts like a bitch.
And he's a tough guy.
Yeah,
so if he's saying that, this is something real.
Yeah. Well, he came in and then he talked about how he played defense. Here's Jimmy Butler talking a little bit about this shoulder injury because this is something we need to be concerned about. Good thing is they've got several days off here, so maybe that helps depending on how serious it is.
I mean, my shoulder was hurting a little bit after the last game. It was hurting before the game, but as I was warming up, I was like, maybe it'll loosen up and maybe I'll be able to play at 100% or whatever it was. Wasn't the case, went to the back, did a little bit of work, and then we decided, you know what, we're going to go out there and we're going to just lock in on defense. I think I did that, play hard, and affected the game besides scoring and on offensive end. I'll be okay. Figure this thing out, do more and more treatment on it every day. Armando Rivas is my guy. He always takes great care of me, the whole Heat training staff. I'll be fine. Rest up and lock in on our next opponent.
That's Jimmy Butler talking about his shoulder, and obviously something to be really concerned about. Again, we don't really know, and you know how the Heat are. It's not like they're going to find it. None of the beat writers are going to find out because it's just the Heat. It's almost impossible to get information from the Miami Heat. So they'll be as and they don't have to be specific about the injury. They can kind of be general about shoulder soreness. Meanwhile, he's got a torn labrum. Yeah, it's just one of those deals. At the end of it, when it's all said and done. And then you hear a week later, well, Jimmy Butler had surgery on his shoulder. And then you're like, oh, damn, it was bad. So I don't know how bad it is. None of us do. None of us will know. Let's hope that it gets healthy enough so he can get back out there. Look, I know he made a couple of threes, but he's not there really to score a lot of points, okay? He's there if he can hit free throws, if he can drive, if he can play defense, if he can lead, if he can get rebounds, all those kind of things that he normally does, then, you're off and running and you're good. But obviously this is something to be concerned about with Jimmy because, you need this guy, man. You need his leadership. You need his his experience. And when he did go out, the Heat didn't fall apart. That was very important if you noticed it. Now, again, Indiana will not be Milwaukee, okay? And that's a whole different conversation, and eventually we'll get into the Milwaukee side of it all when it happens, obviously, because, they still have another, 2 games to go, right? Because they're up 2-1, right? Isn't it like that?
3-1 as of yesterday.
That's right,
I was just say you're already discounting
right.
Magic, huh?
So they need one. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, give me a break.
No.
I discounted the Magic and the Blazers. I didn't fall for the banana in the tailpipe and all that.
We are pulling
after the one win.
We do want one more Magic win. That would be nice to have that extra.
I want 2 more Magic wins.
I'm not going to be a pig. I'm going to keep it in reality, Orlando, they have a conversation. Mickey Mouse shows up and talks to them before they get on the court.
They just have to, shoot lights out in order to win. That's it. That's what they're going to have to do, because, Milwaukee's not a great perimeter defense. So you'll have an opportunity there. But anyway, so Butler, unfortunately, dealing with the shoulder injury. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope that he'll be, all right. But you got to like what you're seeing from the Miami Heat overall, man. Bam yesterday, 37 minutes, 14 rebounds, 14 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists. The guy had, I think, 6 offensive rebounds in that game. Miami out-rebounded Indy in the offensive end 17-5, and they only shot 26% from three-point range. This wasn't they won by 12 points, and they shot poorly from three-point range. That's, scary.
Bam's 6 offensive rebounds was one more than the whole entire Indy team.
Yep, exactly. Dragon had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Hero was terrific. That layup little spin that he put on the ball and it went in all net. That was a thing of beauty. In 32 minutes, the kid had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. We should all pick up an IG model. Our games will be a lot better. And listen, this is a game where Duncan shot 1 of 7 from three-point range. Dragon shot 1 of 6 from three-point range. That's why Miami was so bad from three-point range. And this is good, actually, because you need to win these kind of ugly games because you're not going to be lights out every night from three-point range. And when you're not, you need to figure out other ways to win. You've got to play good defense. You got to rebound the ball. And if you can dominate on the offensive side of the glass, God bless you, because that's going to be more opportunities for you in the process. So all of these things, when you look at what's going on with the Heat, again, maturity. You're up 3-0. You're mature enough to not say, "Oh, we got this team," and you let the game slide, and then a little urgency builds in, and you eliminate them in Game 5. They eliminated that. They said, "No, we're finishing it off right now." Butler goes out. They lose. No composure whatsoever. They continue to play well. Last night, they don't shoot well from three-point range, which is one of their strengths and one of the best strengths in all of the NBA, because they're one of the great three-point shooting teams in the NBA. And yet they overcame all of those adversities. Okay? That's really important to notice because, again, I don't expect them to be that mature, and yet they are showing you they can be that mature, which is also a credit to the Heat front office, identifying people like Duncan Robinson, like Tyler Hero, like Kendrick Nunn. And it's not like Kendrick Nunn lit it up, but Kendrick Nunn has been a true professional as a young man, starting back to the bench, dealing with COVID, leaving the bubble, coming back, and the kid has not been fazed by any of it, doesn't point fingers, doesn't blame anybody. He just keeps working hard. You know, I saw him last night, and you saw his effort was always there. Defense was there, okay? And, you know, it's not like he's talked to Stella and he found his groove. He hasn't found his groove yet offensively in a while. But, again, the maturity to rise above my offensive struggles, but do not let it affect the rest of my game. And it was a nice theme last night. That maturity is definitely there for a very young Heat team. So good stuff yesterday by the Miami Heat, eliminating the Pacers 99-87. We love the Heat. You know who also loves the Heat? Tim Legler from ESPN. He was bragging all about the Heat. Let's hear from Timmy L on his Heat point of view.
We've got a bunch of sweeps here in the East, Toronto, Boston, and Miami. Of that group, who's impressed you most?
I'm going to go with the Heat, the team that we just watched, and I think the reason is because of their style of play. Scott, I'm starting to fall in love with this team. They've had so many different guys play exceptionally well in the bubble, and you just look at what they just did to Indiana. Sometimes it was Jimmy Butler, but a lot of times maybe it was Dragic, who was sensational in that series. Adebayo's been fantastic. Duncan Robinson had his moments. Tyler Hero. They move the ball exceptionally well. Their player movement is as good as anybody in the league. I think it's the best passing team in the NBA, and the more I watch them, the more impressed I am. I love Erik Spoelstra and think he's the guy that never got as much credit as he deserved for the run that they had when he had LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh. This is just a team that's ready, man. I love the way they mix up defenses. They're impressive. And I don't have to make this prediction yet because the Bucks haven't finished off their business yet, but I am starting to lean on the Miami Heat a little bit, lean that way, and thinking I can absolutely see them ending up in the conference finals.
Okay, that's intriguing. I'll follow. Give me what that looks like. What's the recipe, or do they need to change what they did in this series? Can they just be who they are?
I think they can be who they are, but I think the one thing they have going for them, no team plays as an effective zone as Miami does. They play more of it, therefore they're better at it because they get more reps at it. And I think that could be the kind of thing that could bottle up Giannis a little bit. They had success against them when they played him earlier in the year. I think they're better now because some of their younger players are more seasoned and going through this now. Some of these guys now have had some pressure under their belt as they would enter that series. I just think the way they move it and the way they shoot it speaks volumes against a team like Milwaukee that protects the paint as well as any team in the league. They're going to give up three-point shots, and this is the one team you don't want to give up a lot of three-point shots to, because they will find the right guy. They're incredibly decisive. They're unselfish. They just get it to the next open jersey, and they trust that guy to make a play. And I think Bam Adebayo is the kind of guy that can, play Giannis straight up when they play man. I also think that zone can be something that can be very effective to expose some of his limitations, similar to what Toronto did to him a year ago.
I remember a guy telling me to keep an eye on Bam Adebayo before this season started, and that guy was you. You had him pegged.
All right, so Tim Legler, obviously a big fan, and one of the things that he mentioned there were a couple things that I want to talk about, but one of them for sure is Spoelstra and the job that he's done. And I'm wondering, because even when the big three was going on, there were people out there like, oh, well, anybody can coach them, right? And then he got a bunch of stiffs and almost made the playoffs, went 31-10.5. He has had all kinds of offenses. He's changed things up. He's had to adjust on the fly with the different lineups. They give him the bum Whiteside, and he has to play with that bum. And then he changes things up now again, and it's a completely different team. And he's had success, and he's gotten to the playoffs with several different kinds of teams. And I'm just wondering, are there any idiots left out there that still don't believe in Spo? And it's really the only way I can phrase it. I can't say, oh, I'm sorry, I disagree with, I think you're out of place. No, I think you're a dumbass. At this point, if you haven't learned by now that Erik Spoelstra is one of the three best coaches in the NBA, he's not just a good coach, okay? He's one of the three best coaches in the NBA. Popovich and Rick Carlisle and Spo are the three best coaches in the NBA. Do you know why? Because I've seen them with all kinds of teams for 20 years now. Okay? It's pretty close for Spo. It's not 20 yet, but it's pretty close. But my point is, I've watched them, and actually, I'm even more impressed that in Spo's short tenure, okay, which is just under 20, what is it, about 14 years, right? Something like that, right? Because 06 was Riley.
I was thinking 13, right? 13, 14, right there. Yeah.
So 14 years, he has had so many different teams. From the Wade teams that got into the playoffs to the Big Three to then post-Big Three with different kinds of teams making the playoffs. And somehow or another, and the guy, the positionless basketball, he was ahead on the curve on everybody there. I think he got slowed down by Riley's love for the big man with Whiteside and all that. That's not the direction Spo wanted to go in. But Spo's a trooper, and he sucked it up, and he dealt with it because Riley's his boss. And Riley noticed that he made the mistake, and they've gone the other way, and they've loaded the team up with shooters, and they've changed with the times. Unlike the Sixers, unlike the Pacers that want to still stay in, older basketball, which is just not the way you play now. You know what I mean? So it's amazing to me, if you have any friends still that don't believe in Spo, then they really know nothing about basketball at this point. Because in the last 14 years, if you haven't seen example out of example, and all these guys have improved under him. I mean, he maxed out James Johnson. He maxed out Whiteside, right? He maxed out all those players. He got whatever he can out of journeyman guys. And now you look at it, Tyler Hero gets better every day. Duncan Robinson has gotten better since we first saw him, 2 years ago coming out of the G League. Bam Adebayo has grown into an all-star. He finds a role for everybody. Whether it's Olynyk, you name it, it doesn't matter. He knows exactly where to put the pieces. Is he perfect? There's no such thing. Okay? Greg Popovich took Tim Duncan out against the Miami Heat in the Ray Allen shot. Nobody's perfect. Okay? Nobody. So let's not make it out to be like Popovich is perfect or Spoelstra or any coach in this NBA. But damn, Spo's pretty freaking close. He is awesome. And it's time by now that we start treating him like we treat the rest of our great coaches in the history of this town. Okay? Whether it's Shula or Riley. I know it sounds blasphemous out there, but we need to start treating him. I'm not saying he belongs in the same pedestal as those guys, but he belongs in that respect level that you give a championship coach, a winning coach, year in and year out pretty much. Couple hiccups along the way, but more often than not, you're winning, you're in the playoffs, and your team is super confident and competent. So, there's a lot of things to love, like Tim Legler says about this team, but the guy you got to love a lot is Erik Spoelstra.
He's in his 12th year. This is his 12th.
Only 12?
He got the job back in April of 2008.
Oh, 8. Okay.
April 28th, 2008.
Oh, that's right, because Riley stayed the year after. They didn't come. They came back lazy, and they're fat and out of shape, and he was pissed. And that's right. I remember that now.
Was that the Wade injury year? And
no.
That was the next. Yeah.
It was just Shaq getting fat and lazy, and then picking on.
He got a trophy
on all that. Yeah,
he got a trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he started. Well, he
lay back on your laurel.
He started to get lazy that year, the championship year. Shaq was already gaining back his weight. The year before that, he got injured. That year, we should have won the title that year.
Yeah,
would have kicked Detroit's ass, and I think they would have given San Antonio a run for their money or beat them because the way Shaq was playing and Wade. Oh my God, one got a thigh injury. The other one got a rib injury, if I remember correctly. And, and then everything went to crap after the 2006 title because they didn't come back and Riley was pissed and all that stuff. And I remember that now. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He didn't take over right away. It's
time, bro. You talking about the injury. The injury thing has affected us heavily.
Yeah.
We have been, never won the lottery like the Magic. We've overcome a lot of adversity.
Tons.
To get where we're at.
Yeah, tons.
Nothing's been handed to us easy.
Never. From Timmy breaking down with the Achilles injury a couple times down the stretch to Zoe getting a kidney ailment to signing Dan Marley and he blows out his back right away in the first week and you never get Thunder Dan, actually. Dan had to change his game and become a three-point shooter, a lighter guy. He lost weight because obviously with the back issue, you don't want to carry more weight and muscle and all that stuff. So Dan had to change. I can
remember him doing his best Larry Bird impersonations, laying on the floor like Bird used to back in the day.
Yeah, the Shaq and Wade injury. I could just go on and on and on. Yeah, Chris Bosh, the blood clots. I mean, dude, the Heat during Riley's tenure. Okay, we've had a ton of success, but holy crap, bro! If all this other stuff that I talked about, can you imagine? If there's no kidney ailment from Zoe, can you imagine that team that year? That team was loaded, bro. After that team broke up, it became that Brian Grant and Eddie Jones were your main guys. On that team, Brian Grant and Eddie Jones were bench guys. Okay? That's how loaded they were. No, I can't even think about what would happen in Heat history if all the stuff that's happened did not happen and allowed the Heat to excel. Like if Shaq and Wade were healthy in 2005. Are you kidding me? We're talking about back-to-back titles. Man, no, forget about it. I don't even want to think about it. It's just amazing stuff. Anyway, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. One of the things that I've always talked about on the show here, and one of the things that I think separates our show from a lot of hosts out there, and we actually watch the games. And you got a lot of people that do radio, and they might read somebody's opinion, and then they go off of that. I actually sit there and watch all the games, and I get to talk about them. And if I don't know something, I'll just tell you I don't know. I'm not going to know everything. You know what I mean? I know very little as it is. But what I'm saying is I do get to watch the stuff, right? And I heard this soundbite because I don't listen to Colin Cowherd. I can't listen to Colin. I think he's just a bag of hot air. Okay, and he comes up with these comparisons, and that's kind of what his show is. He tries to come up with a subject and then a comparison to that subject and something that goes with life or whatever, and he tries to tie it all in every single time. And I've heard him over the years say some really stupid stuff on air. Now listen, you're on air long enough, you're going to say stupid things, okay? Because I know I do it all the time. But usually it's not something stupid about a factual thing about a team. It's usually a prediction or something like that because it's really hard to do predictions. So you'll look stupid in some of those things, right? Hey, I thought the Heat-Pacers game was going to be a little bit more desperate and high-scoring yesterday. It certainly wasn't. So I hear this soundbite from Colin Cowherd talking about the Heat, okay? I want you to listen. It's Colin and Joy Taylor, because Joy's his co-host, right? She does, driving the show, all that stuff, and then Colin obviously is the host. And so listen to this Heat conversation, you know what I mean? And Joy is from here. She's a Heat fan, obviously. And she's a nice girl and everything. I saw her with the video with the broom and all that. But this is the problem when you're a boss, right? And you can't necessarily call him out. And so she doesn't call him out. I know that if I was her, because I know myself, I wouldn't have allowed it to fly. I would have said something because that's just who I am. You know what I mean? You don't like it too damn bad, bro? I'll move on. I don't care. But here is Colin Cowherd describing the Heat, and I want you to hear how wrong this guy is.
Here are Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat in.
Can book a vacation.
Boo!
First of all, Joy, they have 2 undrafted players in their starting 5.
And?
They can't shoot. So they got 2 big problems. Listen, Jimmy Butler's a great athlete. They play, it's
They also have 2 All-Stars.
And then nobody else who can shoot.
What do you mean?
Nobody else that can shoot. Do you watch the Heat, you moron? They're the best three-point shooting team in the NBA. And it's not Butler, and it's not Bam. It's Goran Dragic. I don't know if he's heard of Duncan Robinson.
3-point All-Star winner.
I don't know if he's heard of Tyler Hero. Not sure. Has he heard of Kelly Olynyk? I'm just wondering, does he know anything about our team? Okay? Because Iguodala can shoot threes. I mean, we have a slew of people. Crowder can shoot
Crowder,
threes.
I was going to say.
Crowder can shoot threes. Hey, we got so many threes. What we didn't remember 2-3 years ago, like there was no shooters on this team because Riley had the old school way of doing things, which just does not fly. And I'm sure Spo, because remember, Spo had shooters around LeBron and all that because that's kind of the way he designed it. And then they kind of went a little old school, and you could tell that wasn't Spo. That was more Riley's influence. And he screwed Spo in a way. Okay, I love Riley, but, I always mention that he screwed up in those couple years. Okay? And I'm sure he's honest enough. Somewhere he won't say it publicly, but I'm sure behind the scenes, he's mother effing himself many times for that decision because he set them back. And then they reconstructed the team the way you need to construct the team in the NBA. Play that again from Colin Cowherd, because for him to say that, listen again, and it's with conviction.
Here are Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat in.
Can book a vacation.
Boo!
First of all, Joy, they have 2 undrafted players in their starting 5.
And?
They can't shoot. So they got 2 big problems. Listen, Jimmy Butler's a great athlete. They play, it's
They also have 2 All-Stars.
And then nobody else who can shoot.
What do you mean?
Nobody else they can shoot. How do you say that on national radio, dude? Okay.
This is as bad as Stephen A. Smith talking football. This guy doesn't watch.
Right. No, at all. That's right. Whenever they ask Stephen A. about anything outside of basketball, I turn it off. It's like, I don't want to hear you, bro. I know that you don't pay the dues. If you don't watch the games, I don't want to hear you talk about them, bro. Pretty simple. You know what I mean? It's just like
2 undrafted guys in our lineup. You find diamonds in the rough.
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can name a bunch that our Dolphins have done. The Heat. How many guys have we picked off that G League, D League, whatever, and turned into something?
Well, Udonis Haslem.
Thank you.
Came out of
undrafted,
nowhere.
yeah.
Okay, so it's just, but to say that somebody's undrafted, that doesn't mean anything. Do you watch the games? Duncan Robinson is the best three-point shooter in the NBA this year. So are you watching or what? Because you're definitely not. I'm not telling you he's the best shooter in the league because that's Steph Curry, because Steph Curry can shoot at all angles, everything, all that. But when it comes to pure three-point shooting, bro, Duncan Robinson is right there with everybody in this league. With everybody. And we're now watching him put it on the floor and drive. We're now watching him put it on the floor and pass. We're now watching him actually moving threes where it's not where he's set and somebody passes it to him and he finishes it off. No, he's dribbling out of one area into another to shoot the three in the same kind of movement, which is, again, this is all new. Because he was just a three-point shooter. Now he's learned to run around without the ball to set himself up, cutting to the basket. I mean, he continues to grow as a player because this staff is teaching him how to be a better basketball player. Are you not watching?
Maybe he needs to have a conversation with Tim Legler.
I don't know, man. No, what he needs to do is, I guess he's out in the left coast, and maybe that's all he's watching. And I get it. Clippers, Lakers are the favorites and all that good stuff, even though Dallas has been the better team in the series. But whatever. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, that's just asinine to say, oh, yeah, well, that and nothing else to shoot.
I mean, obviously, he didn't look at the stats at all.
No.
The team stats or any of the box scores or player stats for he did none of that.
No. All right, well, we've already done about 40 straight minutes here to open up the show. Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll come back. We got a bunch of things to talk about. We got Brian Flores' press conference. We'll play that for you. We'll break it down like no one else can. We'll talk about, oh, man, there's so many things. A couple of you out there, send us some presents. We'll talk about that when we come back on the other side. Later on the program, Mark Dacascos is going to join us. He's an actor, martial arts expert. He's from Hawaii, home of Tua. So we had a nice conversation with Mark. We'll share that conversation with you. We'll have a little fun. So we got a bunch of things to talk about. We'll give you our picks. Struggled yesterday, went 2-3 against the number. So we got to give you our picks. We got a bunch of things to talk about here on the show. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground and from coming now to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% finance, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood. The #1 volume Toyota dealer, 41 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 value Acura dealer.
All right, we're back. Don't forget, the show is proudly brought to you by VSS West Pines. We're going to be there tomorrow, broadcasting live, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out there having a little fun. We'll be out there till 2 o'clock. I got to leave a little early tomorrow.
Modified, a little bit before 12, probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, we'll be on before 12 for sure tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let Jose know.
Yeah, I'd like to be on by 11:30. I'd like to be on tomorrow because I got to be out by 2. I got a meeting at 3. So I got to go over to the stadium.
We will try to do this, sir.
Okay. So yeah, tomorrow I probably will be done by 2, and then get the hell out. And of course, the folks at VSS West Pines, go see Jose and all the great people out there. Tell them that we sent you. You get 20% off when you mention our name, folks, whether it's hookahs, water pipes, CBD. That is so important. And in today's stressful world, you need some stuff to get rid of that stress, relax yourself a little bit, the tension, all that kind of stuff. Well, you got to go, man. And if you're not sleeping well, if you're dealing with pain, CBD is exceptional for all of that. Go to VSSWestPines.com. Call them 954-613-3367. That's 954-613-3367. Or go over to 12397 Pembroke Road and wear your mask and tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you at VSS West Pines. All right, a lot of things to talk about on the show. Let me do a little roll call here first and foremost because we got to get all of this going on with all of you out there. John Rouse in the house. He's number 1 today. Nice job by you, John. Julius 305 is in. Guillermo Rouse is in. Josh, Drubu, Herman Cueva, NorCal saying puff, puff, no more give. John Santos, Call of Duty 1, Life's a Gamble. Let's see. Dolphin question, Big O, which of the 3 offensive line rookies will make the biggest impact for the team this year and why? Austin Jackson, left tackle. That's why. And when you get Tua in, then we'll change the conversation. But since Fitz is in, we'll go Austin Jackson, left tackle, blind side, all that good stuff. So there you go. It's your left tackle, bro. He's got to be special. Josh says, "Oh, play me the blind ass fan alert. The Heat will win the championship." Woohoo! All right, go ahead, Bill. Play that blind-ass fan alert.
Blind-ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
Now that you mentioned it,
I just want to say I love it. We rarely get to play it. Thank you for bringing it up.
no,
awesome.
but it's and it's a legit blind-ass fan alert because you're not supposed to look at the Heat as a champion, right? Not this year, at least. Think about this, just for fun. If by some crazy thing they eliminate Milwaukee and they're able to get to the NBA Finals and beat whoever it is, if it's Toronto, whatever, in the Eastern Conference, and move on to the NBA Finals, and by some miracle or whatever, they beat the Clippers, the Lakers, whoever the hell is there, Dallas, in the NBA Finals, correct? What would be a bigger accomplishment? The 03 Marlins winning the World Series or the 2020 Miami Heat team winning the championship when they weren't supposed to either, and they're young like those Marlins, right? Which accomplishment would be most impressive?
Man, I got to say, because being a Marlin Yankee, to beat the Yankees where they were at, but the adversities of this season, that this young team that we only got one legit regular start, not to say that George wasn't, man, that's a hell of a question.
You can make a nice case for either one.
And if we do it, we'll have the right ass fan alert. How about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Josh, if it happens, it would be the miracle of all miracles. But it would be right up there with us going, man, which one's more impressive, the 03 Marlins or this one? Because out of all the pro championships that we have, it's like the other Heat championships are not surprising. Not the 06 and not the Big Three. The first Marlin championship was not surprising. It was great. I loved it. But that team was loaded to be a champion. You know what I'm saying? 03, are you kidding me? Nobody was talking championship. And this year, nobody's talking championship. So if it happens, miracles. But, hey, there's no home court right now. And if you can shoot the way they shoot, I guess you could say crazier shit has happened. Let's see. Clee Torres is in the house. Man of 1,005 holds. Donald Peterson. Ronald Hubbard chiming in, says good morning, and Bill, to all of you on the chat board from Michigan. Congrats to the Heat. Do you think the Clippers are going to survive the Mavericks? I think they will survive barely, but the Mavericks are the better team, and they've gotten every break in the book with the ejection of Porzingis, the injury of Porzingis, and the injury to what's it called, Doncic. Okay, they've gotten every break. Dallas has been the better team, and I think Dallas has shocked all of us that they can be this good. I knew they were this good offensively, but wow. Joe Brito, good morning, Big O. What's your take on Weaver? We'll get to that. Mike Gomez, would the Clips show up and knock out the Mavs? Are the Clips still the favorites to win the title? I still have the Clippers as the favorites to win the title. We have now learned that they're facing the toughest opponent, right, in the West. So they got to get through the tough nut, man. Big O, he'll be okay as long as he doesn't further damages it. Donald is talking about Jimmy's shoulder. Eugene96 says, Big O, what do you think about the Dolphins allowing 13,000 fans at the game? We talked about that yesterday, Eugene. You can check it out over on the podcast. But I'm not surprised overall that teams are doing this if they can. I don't think, maybe you shouldn't do it, but, whatever. I get why teams do it. They're all losing a bunch of money. They got to make money back. If I know I won't do it. There's no way I would go anywhere with people. I just can't. I can't take the chance. Can't believe somebody actually made a Fire Spo website. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like you sound like a complete idiot if you're still against Spo at this point. Big old Earl Thomas to the Dolphins. Miami Kid J just listened to the show yesterday. Nelson Gublezu. I don't know if I pronounced your last name, but this is like the first time I've heard this this name on the chat board. What if we had landed D Rose instead of Michael Beasley? It would have been nice for a couple years, and then D Rose's knee would have given out, and it's over. So either way, neither one was going to answer, but it would have helped. It would have been better at least for a couple years. Pat in Asheville says, trust me. We will. Julius 305, words of wisdom. That's right. That's what I would say. Mark says, Colin Cowherd has always sounded wrong to me. He is a lucky fellow. Yes, he is. Amen to that. Matthew says, don't be surprised Colin Cowherd said something wrong. He's the guy who immediately assumed Sean Taylor died from gang activity. Colin is the guy all about the Clippers and the Lakers. He claims Kawhi is better than LeBron. Colin Cowturd, just a hater. The Raging Dolphin Maniac, Colin Cowherd, is full of himself and clueless. Bones Z, what's up, Big O? Ian from Brooklyn. Let's see. The 03 Marlins were a wild card team. Yeah, I know. Fred Soros says, Dolphin X in Michigan. How's it going, my fellow Dolphins? Yep. Volume is very low. Nobody has. I have my volume at 100. And it's just. I guess they're saying our volume is low. It says I sound like a whisper. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. No, it was going out yesterday. This is sounding low. That's what they say. So I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Did you know former Heater James Jones is the GM of the Suns? Yes, I did know. I do know. Let's see. It was going out yesterday. Yeah. This is sounding low. Okay. That's what they say. So I don't know what to tell you. You can hear it. It's not blasting, but I can hear it. It's not the end of the world. I think you should be able to hear it. I just cranked it up. You can hear it. I don't know. You hear that, super chatters? Oh, out by 2 p.m. We'll see. We'll see about that. You're bad, Gus. Robert Triana. Colin also thinks he moves the lines in Vegas. It's great now, real good. That's what NorCal says. Everybody says it's fine. So maybe that person is having some issues. All right.
They just need to turn up the volume.
Turn it up, bitch. All right, let's go. Turn it up. Turn it up. What's wrong with what? Your amplifier doesn't go to 11 like ours? Is that your problem? Because it isn't ours. Our amplifier, you see, goes to 11. Just saying. First of all, Lisa Rizzari. I think it's always Rose on the on social media, but she sent me a present, and I want to thank her for it because she's in Rochester, and there's a group of Dolphins in Rochester. So she sent me this mask. Oh, there we go. I don't need the headsets at the moment since I'm not doing an interview. So she sent me this. See, Rochester love. Lisa, thank you very much for the mask. I appreciate it, sweetheart. Thank you very, very much. You've always been a loyal listener to the program and always a big supporter of our show, no matter what station I've been at or now with our own show here with the podcast. We appreciate it. And we got another show coming too. I can't divulge it yet, but it's coming. So, Lisa, thank you very much. I appreciate you for sending me this. Also, Julio, is it Khalil? I think is how it's pronounced. Calil. Khalil, I think is how it's pronounced. He sent us 2 presents yesterday. One, he sent Bill a Chicago Bears mask.
It's awesome.
Right? Really nice, by the way.
It's adjustable on the ears.
Yeah.
It's got the wiring for the nose bridge and a little sleeve to put the filter in.
Right.
Bro, you're amazing, man. Yeah. What a great mask. Awesome. It's better than the Bears one you got from me, by the way.
There you go. Obviously. Anyway, but I got to say, I could give a rat's ass about the Bears, and it was actually a nice mask. So nice job by you. Julio. And Julio, thank you for sending me a Dolphins mask, which is awesome. Okay, I love it. It's gonna screw up my hair, so I'm not gonna put it on. But I get to have and Julio knows me well. He sent me the old logo because he knows I cannot stand the new logo. The new logo is total garbage. And so the new logo is an insult to the Dolphin organization, to the Dolphin name, to the Dolphin colors. Okay? It's just a pathetic logo. But this one, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest logo on the planet right here. Okay? So thank you very much, Julio. You are awesome, sir. I will be sporting this in some event somewhere. So very nice of you guys. Thank you as always. I can't say enough how you guys spoil us every single day, man. Speaking of getting spoiled, Gus 1388 with a little super chat. Fire it off. Thank you, Gus. He says, you heard that, super chatters need to be out by 2 p.m. tomorrow. We'll see about that. Evil laugh. There you go. So Gus plans on bombarding us at 2 o'clock and keeping us a little longer on the super chatting. But thank you all out there. So kind, as always, the way you guys look out for us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Pat in Asheville says volume is better now. Let's see. Jack says much better. Give Bill a shot of Cuban coffee. Tim says going in and out now. Tune in to 11. Okay. Tim says, but we can hear you fine. Fred says sounds good now. Hello, Big O. Everybody, I'm running late today. Well, Clifton, just be safe. Okay. Even if you're running late, don't be speeding around. We don't want you getting a ticket. We don't want you getting injured, okay?
Show is podcast. Even though you're running late, you can catch the show.
That's true. That's a good point. It's a good point. Clee says Coward has one talent, picking smoking hot female co-host, Beetle Thompson Taylor. Alexis says, Big O, is there a Preston Williams type rookie or free agent in Dolphins camp you see as a potential impact player this year? I would only say maybe the Navy kid. That might be the one guy that he's kind of a Swiss Army knife on offense. And if they can use him as a receiver and a running back, and he's a smart kid and has good hands, maybe that's the kid right now. But, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't had mini camps to see Preston Williams shine and then tell you, oh, I can't wait till training camp. And then you watch Preston Williams again shine in training camp. And then you watch Preston Williams in 4 preseason games. And then by then, you're like, holy crap. Now, what do we have? A couple of padded practices, 12 of them or 14 of them, and then you start a regular season. There's no way. We didn't have the platform this year that we had. So for all those people that say, oh, well, the offseason doesn't matter. Well, apparently it does. Apparently, we talked about it yesterday. Do you watch Hard Knocks? Listen to Anthony Lynn. This year we would never find Austin Eckler. He said it. Because you can't find Austin Eckler and Preston Williams if you don't have an entire offseason where the kid is with you for a half a year, pretty much. What April, May, June, July, August. 5 months. And then September starts. Well, September. It kind of goes into almost 6 months, 5.5 months, let's say. You've had the kid for a while. You've had him on several mini camps. You've had him in training camp. You've had him throughout the entire preseason and the practices in the preseason. And then we get to all watch that. And then that's how Oronde Gadsden becomes Oronde Gadsden. Okay? That's how Cam Wake becomes Cam Wake. That's how Preston Williams becomes Preston Williams. It's a lot harder to become those guys when you have 12 padded practices, pressures on coaches to win and find their starting units They don't have time to experiment with Preston Williams, with Cam Wake, with Oronde Gadsden. That's our problem. It's a huge problem, man. But it's a problem everybody in the league has. So it's not like it's our disadvantage. It's everybody's disadvantage. There are going to be NFL players released every day now. Why? Because there's going to be guys that went under the radar, didn't get the opportunity, nobody saw them, and they're screwed. It's tough. It's just not easy to pinpoint a guy right now because we have no examples of it. Whereas Preston Williams, did you right off of the minicamp in the draft? Wow, Preston Williams was running routes and catching balls. The next minicamp, Preston Williams again is catching all kinds of. X-Man says he can be a number one starter. The next minicamp, you see what I'm saying? It kind of built up. We don't have that stage. It's tough. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, the other ways to reach out to us is on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. As you know, that's a 24-hour talk show, and you see it there. But if you're podcasting, you don't see it because you're not watching. The email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. The text line, Heat playing outstanding basketball, opening with the sweep. Bring on the Bucks. Jesse in Minneapolis says, super chatting tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'm in. Oh, no. Maybe I should
They want to make you late for your meeting, brother.
Yeah. RVA says, Big O, what's the deal with Raekwon McMillan? Sounds like he's having problems. Again, can I watch? Okay, so Friday, Tua sucks. Fitzpatrick is out. Our lives are over. Rose and Tua were a disaster. Now Tua looks good. Oh, he's looking much better. The guy's had no offseason. I keep telling you guys this. I think we're the most level-headed sports talk show I know by far in South Florida. It's not even close, okay? We tell you brutal honesty all the time. We tell you what most hosts can't tell you, won't tell you, don't have the balls to tell you. Whether it's firing Dale Talon, whether it's firing Tannenbaum and Gase and put Greer in place, okay? Or whether it's telling you stop overreacting or underreacting on what's going on in training camp. By the way, the world said they were tanking last year. What's the only radio show in the country telling you that they were never tanking? Trying to explain to people, listen, they're trying to win, but with young players. That doesn't mean they're tanking. They're not going out there and putting out there 53 bums. No. They're putting out there the best young players, and they're coaching them up. It doesn't look good at the beginning, but that's because they're young, and it takes a while. And eventually, right, a lot of millions look stupid by the end of the year. Do you know why? Because they overreact. And you know why? Because they're tools. Because one idiot says they're tanking, the next idiot copies him. The next idiot copies him. And the next idiot copies him. And before you know it, since you don't think for yourself, you just say tanking. And then they were never tanking. So it just don't overreact on what's going on in camp. You know why? The environment is terrible right now for it. Guys just came together now, and now's when they're practicing and putting on pads for the first time. Do you know how sloppy things are? Raekwon McMillan had a heck of a year last year. He played well. They found the role for him. As let me ask you something. One of the things he did last year was what? Pass rush. Can you do that right now? Can you attack the quarterback right now? No. So I'm not overreacting when Tua sucks on Friday. I'm not overreacting when Tua throws the ball well on Monday. I'm not overreacting because you think they're tanking, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they're actually doing. Okay? So let's not overreact on anything that's up and down right now because it's just ridiculous. It just is. It's not a good environment, folks. Football is going to be super sloppy to start this year. And there's going to be guys that are going to be, they're not going to be comfortable early on. It's going to take them a while. Remember what happened last year with the Dolphins, right? Everybody was new, bunch of young players, and they all made a boatload of mistakes. And the first 2 games were incredibly embarrassing. Did you suffer any kind of embarrassment after that, like that? No, did not happen because they got better and better and better and better as the year went on.
I was going to say, you could add the 2 quarters, I think, of the Dallas game.
Right, yes.
It was 10 quarters.
Right.
The 11th quarter, we woke up.
The second half, that's right. They played good defense. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it was. So, yeah, it just, you gotta give them a little time here right now. So let's not overreact either way. Let's actually wait till they take the field, and then let's wait actually a month into the regular season, 6 weeks, and then we will start to get a feel for where players are at, the offensive line. How can the offensive line look good when 80% of your offensive line is brand new? How? They had no time to gel this year. This is disastrous. Again, nobody will tell you that. Why? Because then they're worried about what, oh my God, I say this when I get there, will the team tell me something? I'm not into that. Okay? This is a really, really tough year for all these football players. Extremely tough. And a lot of them are going to go through a really rough time early on. And they could end up suffering injuries because of it. Oh, just thought I'd say that your studio is looking dope as hell. Just need a Fins Championship banner back there. What the hell is that? What is that? What is that there? I'm just wondering. Somebody help me out there. I need a championship banner. Okay. All right.
You know what it is? It looks too new. It doesn't look like it's from the 73 season, 74 January Super Bowl, Larry Zonka MVP, most rushing yard.
But thank you. Thank you. We're working on the look on it. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. We try. There are some weak ones out there. Okay? I've seen some of these people that are working from home, and it's like, come on, man. Put a little effort back there. You know what I'm saying?
You were ripping Passon forever because of the paper.
Oh, my God. Jeff Passon is God, bro. He's like a kick-ass reporter, bro.
I'm going to look, at least that paper had a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon logo.
Yeah,
okay?
but I give him credit. You know, ESPN did that for him because you saw it. Like, they set up like a real what's it called? Shelves back there. And Nintendo and all that they put back there. They put like real stuff back there, and I like that. They did a nice job with Jeff. They had to get Jeff Passon out of that wallpaper, bro. Jeff Passon, come on, man. You're an ass-kicking reporter, bro. You need an ass-kicking stage back there. And some of you out there that are broadcasting from your homes, let's go. Pick it up a little bit. Some people are putting like a couple of shirts back there, and that's it. It's like, come on, man. Put a little work behind it. You know what I'm saying? Care. I forgot. I didn't turn on the Eiffel Tower. Speaking of caring. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? on it. George says, I hope they put fans at Hard Rock in the shade or they will pass out 90 degrees with their mask entire game. Yeah, they probably will.
So everybody goes on the home team side. Everybody's on the south, nobody on the north.
Yeah, Julius goes, hey, you're welcome, Big O. Turn on Paris. So he was ahead of me there. I just noticed it. Let's see. Lake and Native. Well, you know what? I didn't finish Dougie Fresh's. He put Finn's championship banner back there. He says, maybe some naked lady mud flaps. Now, Dougie Fresh, if you want to send me some naked lady mud flaps, I'll sneak one back there. I can't put both. I'll get creative. You know what I got to do? We're going to get this one, and we're going to make it smaller, right? And we're going to put it like on the side, and then that way we can put more stuff on the wall, just in case we get other. Well, I've got actually a bunch of other things I could put there. You know, I don't lack memorabilia. I could actually put a couple other things there. But, yeah, we do have the championship banner, Dougie Fresh. I'm not liking this early season injury bug. Reminds me of the early 90s Beagle Weaver, Van Noy, yikes. I mean, it's going to happen, man. These guys have not been playing football the entire offseason. So now you're asking them to, turn it up. And we got to go into fourth and fifth gear and hit turbo in seconds. And that's just, it's a huge change. It's a huge demand for them. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. I do want to tell you about Murias Dental. I've been telling you about Murias Dental now for a year almost now. Actually, it's been a year. And listen, Murias Dental and a couple of our listeners have already gone on Murias Dental. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning name when you go to any of our sponsors, but those of you that went to Murias Dental and you told Erik, hey, Big O sent me there, whether you need your teeth clean, cavity, implants, Invisaligns, crown, all that stuff. And remember, when you need a tooth replacement or fill-in or whatever, they do it right there. The crown, the implant, they make it right there, and then they take a digital imprint of the space that you need, and then they go to the machine and they make it within minutes. So you don't leave with a temporary and come back a couple of weeks later and you're worried about the temporary falling while you're eating a steak and all that stuff. No. None of that happens. Okay, Murias Dental, it's state-of-the-art equipment. The service is impeccable. Erik is a monster sports fan, so you're going to love talking sports with him. Loves talking Dolphins, man. So as much Dolphins as you could talk, Erik will love you, okay? Loves his Heat, too. Loves his Canes, all that stuff. He's just a local guy. Been a proud listener of our show for a long time and sponsor, him and his dad. So please check them out, 305-821-0231. They are exceptional. I know I use them. Go to muriasdental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We back. If you all want to get in, you can reach out to us on the text line, 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on email, orlando@bigoradioshow.com. Twitter, Big O Show. Plenty of ways to reach out to us. The head coach, Brian Flores, addressed the media today. Let's get into his conversation with the media, and let's break it down. When we need to stop, we will break it down. We'll get into whatever point he makes, and we'll give you our insight on that. Let's hear from Brian Flores in Davie today.
Well, I wanted to get your update on a couple of things. First of all, the decision to put Curtis Weaver, waive him with an injury designation. Are you expecting him to be back? And two, how is Kyle Van Noy?
Weaver start there. So again, a lot goes into, these decisions, the injury itself, player performance, salary cap, depth at the position, next year's draft. There's a lot that goes into it. Those conversations are had by myself, Chris, Brandon, the coaching staff. He's waived. He could get claimed. It's a small percentage of players who do get claimed in this situation. So we'll see if we get him back. We'll know this evening. As far as Kyle, got banged up a little bit yesterday. He's getting treatment. He's feeling a little bit better, and we're just going to take this thing day to day. And, I'm hopeful that he'll be out there. I know he'll try to get out there as soon as he can.
Armando?
First of all, let's break down, first of all, the Weaver situation. As you all know, the Miami Dolphins yesterday waived Curtis Weaver. He's got to clear waivers, which I believe it's by 4 o'clock today, and then they can reclaim him and put him on the IR. They do this because that way teams don't come up with a fake injury and then put a player on the IR. And then it's like they stash him for a year, and they've done that many, many times over the years. Every team has done it because that's the advantage you have. So they have eliminated that, and that's why you've got to now release him, and he's got to go through waivers. Maybe somebody claims him. He was one of those intriguing guys, but the problem is, think about this. You're a 5th-round pick, okay? And they're not willing to hang on to you. So what it tells me is, what did you do this offseason to turn them off? What did you do this offseason that didn't show the kind of commitment that they needed? Because I gotta figure that you're a 5th-round pick. They like you, they gotta like you if they drafted you, okay? And 5th round is not the worst pick in the world. I know it's a gamble pick at that point. Once you get to the 4th round, you're kind of throwing darts, but you got to have some kind of conviction if you like the kid in the 5th round, right? And if not, maybe you would have waited till the 7th or a street free agent. So there is some kind of something that you like in him. But he must have done something throughout the offseason, I don't know, mentally. It can't be physically because there wasn't enough there wasn't any physicality to be displayed. So I don't know what he lacked in physically in the last couple of weeks since they got back together and then training camp here. I don't know what he did throughout the offseason, but it is an indictment to a certain extent. Now, the injury, how bad is this injury? You know what I mean? So I don't know. The thing is, it's like the Cal Van Noy thing. You just heard it. Well, he's day-to-day. It doesn't seem serious. Doesn't seem like, Kyle's going to miss a couple weeks in the season. That's not what it sounds like. Sounds like, it's not that serious. He could be out a couple days. I may have to hold him on an extra day or two just to protect him from himself, because that's kind of what he's saying, that, knowing Kyle Van Noy in a couple days, he'll want to come back as soon as possible, and that's where you got to protect the player from himself. So the Kyle Van Noy thing doesn't seem serious to me. The Curtis Weaver one, I have to sit back and say, what's going on here? Okay? And what is it that they didn't like about him that they released him? But the problem about that question, and where we cannot, by any stretch, jump to any conclusions, okay? Because we don't have the facts yet. Is he a guy that mentally had a tough time grasping everything, and they said, this guy's going to take a while to figure it out before he can physically do what we need because mentally he's way behind? I don't know. Or is the injury that he has serious enough that maybe there's some concern long-term and there's some risk long-term? Because when he was talking about the salary cap, if you were a higher pick, then I'm kind of worried about it. But in the 5th round, that can't be the kind of money with this kind of team right now where they've got cap space and flexibility. This can't be the kind of salary that's crippling cap-wise. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to figure either physically something there's an issue or mentally something there's an issue. But again, I don't know what it is, but clearly they lost some interest in him that they're willing to let him go. Okay? And maybe they're not even willing to claim him again. I don't know. We'll see.
How about this? As good as we are with the money and we are on top of the cap, what we're going to get in return for our investment, they don't see it from this guy.
Whatever.
It's
something.
Yeah.
They obviously they were not happy with him. Okay?
No, because like you said, to draft him and you don't do that.
If you're willing to do this, it's because there's something there. Okay? PJ Hall or whatever, right? The Raiders, he's their 2nd-round pick. They just released him. 2 years removed from being a 2nd-round pick. And they were like, we're giving up on him. We're done. So there was obviously something there that they didn't see from PJ Hall. Troy goes, Weaver needs a work on his body, a lot of baby fat. It's got to be more than that, bro. It's got to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? Herman says, love your U2 shirt. By the way, please answer the phone, 1-800-ROBERT. Tell Robert, that's that commercial, right? I got you. It's a lot different than that other lawyer commercial that's got that woman in the burgundy dress with the cannons. Have you seen that? It's like, okay, women don't want to be objectified, but yet they will objectify themselves. And it's a law office, right? And she comes out with, and we're here to serve. And like, once you see those cannons, you kind of forget that she's a lawyer. You forget about because I'm telling you what guys think. You're just looking at those cannons, okay? And it's kind of like that Estrella commercial that is.
I was just going to say.
Dude, it is terrible, that Estrella commercial, okay? And all it is to show the girl with the big jugs. And so You know what I mean? It's like it's hilarious how there's women that get insulted and disgusted by the objectifying of women, but then there you are. And the other one I don't understand, the law office. You're a lawyer. What do your breasts have anything to do with the lawyer? Right? And she stands sideways. You notice that, right? She doesn't stand forward where maybe you won't be able to tell how ginormous they are, but she stands sideways. We're here to protect you and your rights. And it's like, cannons. And it's just like.
We have this beautiful Ferrari. What do we need? Girl in a bikini.
Right. It's weird. Weird. Just trying to sell me one thing, and here comes something else. We are in the middle of a Brian Flores press conference, aren't we?
Breastises got you to go off track, my brother.
Hey, man. I told you, it gets your mind off it all. What Brian Flores press conference? All right, go ahead.
Talk to Josh Rosen later this afternoon, as you probably know. So what kind of camp is he having?
Josh, like all the quarterbacks, he's had some good moments, some bad moments. But, all in all, I think he's competing. I think he's made some, of all the quarterbacks, he's probably got the biggest arm. He's made some incredible throws, consistency. I would say we need to always be more consistent at every position, specifically the quarterback. And, there's a lot of competition there with Fitz to Tua to Josh. But he's a talented player. He's been competing. But consistency, really, at that position, you need it from a situationally, from a leadership standpoint. But I do think he's making a lot of progress, and hopefully we'll continue with that progress.
Cam?
Hey, Flo, I know you've talked about it in different situations before, but there is another black man that was killed in, a kind of public matter by police with Jacob Blake. I wanted to see, how, if you want to say anything about how that impacts you or your team, yeah.
You're kind of cutting out, Cam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. I heard the beginning part, how it impacts our team is the last thing I heard.
Yeah, just impacts you and your team, going forward, if that's something that you've discussed with them.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. I think, for me, when a situation like this comes up again, it just reminds me that there's a lot of fear in this world. There's a lot of anger in this world. There's racism, there's classism, there's sexism, and there's a lot of division. And what we need is unity. That's what we need. And unfortunately, the situations like this create more division. And I think it's sad. I haven't watched it because I'm not ready to watch it. Emotionally, I think I'm having a pretty good idea of what I'm going to see. But there's just a lot of division. We need more unity. And I haven't talked to the team about it yet, but I think we've had conversations about race and injustices, and I think they know where I stand on this. But we I think individually we all need to be better. We all need to be more empathetic. We all need to, take more ownership of how we treat people. And again, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anger, on all sides. And it's unfortunate. There's a lot of division. Hopefully, I just try to do my best to improve the situation any way I can. I think our team tries to do that, and use their platform to create more harmony and camaraderie in the world. And, hopefully we take the situation and try to make something good out of it. But when, it continually happens, it's frustrating, but we got to do our best to try to make, a kinder, more empathetic, more unified world.
Josh.
Hey, Flo, appreciate your thoughts on the Jacob Blake incident. To bring it back to football, we've talked about Erik Flowers before, but in speaking with all the three rookies, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, all three of them were very complimentary of what Erik has done for them and kind of a mentorship role. Is there a way to, describe just how valuable that can be, especially when there's so many newcomers and rookies down the line?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's very valuable. I mean, Erik's had a lot of experiences in this league. As a high draft pick, he's played for, a few different teams. He's had a lot of ups, downs, over the course of his career. He's learned a lot, and he's really kind of taken those young players under his wing to a degree. And, to me, it's, what better of a guy to do that, someone who's had as many experiences as he had, been in different places, been under different systems, but and had some success also, success and failures. So it's when he talks to a young guy, a young offensive lineman, he's talking to him with a lot of knowledge, and I think if they just do a quick Google search, they'll read about it and know that there's he's been through a lot, and he's come through it, and he practices hard every day, and it's important to him, and he goes about his business the right way, and I think he's learned a lot over the course of his career. So I mean, it's been nice to see, and it's Erik, but it's also Ted Karras, it's Jesse Davis. I think, Julian Davenport, we've got, Panky. I mean, they're all kind of, they all work well together. Danny Sedora, I mean, they're all kind of work together, and helping those young guys get acclimated to the National Football League. Obviously, there's no preseason game, so they don't get to go out there and bang with another team, but I know there's a lot of conversations about what it's like to play a game in this league. Those conversations are happening. Guys like Erik and Ted and Danny, they're leading those conversations.
Did he say bang?
Omar?
This is kind of a two-part question. I wanted to ask you about your thought process on rookies, because last year, especially with Dieter, you put him in there, threw him in the deep end to see how he played. And it seems like you're doing the same with a lot of these rookies, from Noah to the offensive linemen. Is that just your coaching philosophy? And also, I want to ask you about Nick Needham, because he's gotten a call up to the first team because of Noah's injury. How has he done so far in training camp, in your opinion?
All right, so let's. I'll start that with Nick. I think Nick has made a lot of improvement over the course of a year. How Nick came into training camp, he's learned a lot. I think he's matured a lot. I think he's taken a lot more professional approach from his rookie year, and he's made some strides. So, I tell these guys, when you get your opportunity, you have to take advantage of it. So it's like basketball. You get to, you get your opportunity. That's like getting to the free throw line. You either make it, or you don't. So that's kind of some of the things we talked about. And so when Nick goes in because somebody else goes down and plays well, that's what we're talking about as far as taking advantage of your opportunities. And that's not just football. That's, life in general. So Nick's done a good job. As far as rookies in general, and throwing them in the fire versus not throwing them in the fire, look, we play the guys we feel give us the best chance to win, and that was the case with you mentioned Dieter last year, and he played a lot of football a year ago, and we felt like he gave us the best chance to win. But at the same time, there's a little bit of forecasting and predicting we need to do as coaches, as an organization, as personnel, as a personnel department. Where a guy may not be better than somebody else in week 1, but, the prediction, the forecast is that he may be better in week 12. And those are the decisions we have to make.
Let him finish there. I'm sorry, my bad.
And every team's making those decisions in some form or fashion. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily the case. We might feel like he is better right now than, not Dieter. I'm not talking specifically about, one specific player. I'm just, in general, we may feel like that player X is better than, the veteran. But we may also feel like player X is going to be better. And that's a lot of what goes into the decisions here. So you guys will never really know what I'm thinking at the end of the day.
We can't help it. He has these pregnant pauses sometimes. You just don't know when he's stopping sometimes. But anyway, a couple points there. First of all, on the Nick Needham thing. Remember you were asking me who's the next Preston Williams? Well, who's the next Nick Needham too? Right? Who's the next Ronde Gadsden, right? That's kind of what it's all about. It's finding that next gem. Besides Preston, Nick was the other guy, and Nick looked terrible in camp. He looked terrible early on in the regular season. How my nickname for him was, Nick, we don't need to see him anymore. Okay? That's basically what it is. And since then, and for the coach to say that he's already made strides in the last year and that he's taken advantage of his opportunities, and if you're able to watch him grow, think about this, okay? Your general manager is the guy that drafted X, okay, in the second round, and you got yourself a shutdown corner. You find Nick Needham off of somebody else's practice squad, okay? If the Noah kid can translate over, and I know he's done well in training camp, which, again, I'm not getting too high about that. I'm not getting too low about that. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to wait till there's actual real games right around the corner, and then we'll get to measure where Noah is, right? But the bottom line is you are watching some of these young guys take advantage of their opportunities, and if something does happen with X that his knee does not hold up, which is about the, outside of the domestic issues, which you hope that was, past him already at this point if he's smart enough. But you think about this. Here's the one caveat I want you to think about the entire time. The general manager is the guy that's gotten all these corners. Look, you could draft a guy and you just never know when they're going to turn into an injury-prone player. You just don't know that. Now, if they come from college already injury-prone and you took a chance, well, then that's on you, okay? That wasn't X. You just didn't know that he could develop a chronic issue. But if Noah plays well, if Nick Needham plays well, he was there part of the Bobby McCain draft. So all of a sudden, and, you got the other guy is already proven from Dallas. So all he's got to do is kind of maintain his level of play. The thing you'd love to see him add is a little more interceptions, and we'll see if they can do that here. But overall, you got to feel good that there is a good eye for the secondary already. So worst case scenario, if X does not come around and Noah and Needham are there to fill in the voids, okay, along with Jones, then you're fine in your secondary. Now, if X does come back and Needham plays well and Noah plays well, and you've got this loaded freaking secondary, you got to feel good about the guy that's making those picks too, okay? So I just wanted to kind of bring that up because I want you to think of it that the same guy that's your general manager is the guy that's found most of these DBs. And it's a pretty good group right now that they've got going on. And whether he drafts them first or second round or picks them up in street free agency, somehow or another, they're finding some gems. The other one was about throwing rookies in the fire, and I believe it was Omar that was asking, like how Michael Dieter was thrown into the fire last year. The difference, okay, and again, Flo just told you that he's not going to tell you what he's thinking ultimately, okay? But let me take a stab at something that I don't know if he's going to tell you ever, or you're going to figure it out, or writers will figure it out. But when you look at what happened with Dieter last year, they had no choice. They were new. They took over. They cleaned house. They were going to win with young guys. And it's not like Dieter had a bunch of competition. He was the third-round pick. And you weren't loaded with picks either, like you were this year and next year. So it's a different scenario last year that you were forced to throw all the young guys in. You're not forced to throw Noah in there. If Nick Needham's ready to go along with X and Jones, then you've got all three guys, and you can bring Noah along slowly. But if Noah's ready, then you throw him in there. And now you've got several guys on the offensive line. You've got competition of multiple guys pretty much on every position except for maybe left tackle, where I know you got Julian there, but we all know it's got to be Austin Jackson. Unless Julian Davenport somehow or another just does some amazing stuff and turns the corner. So the second year around, it's not a simple question that Omar asked, because last year it was a lot easier and you had less options. You were kind of forced to throw your rookies in there and throw them into the fire. This year, you may have some options at different positions. You may have depth at different positions. You may even have a little experience ahead of the person that you brought in. So you can kind of ease that person in. So that's what Flo's not going to tell him, but I'm going to tell you that it's going to be a little easier to work young players in. And he talked a little bit about it in this press conference so far, about working those guys in, easing them in. Last year, there was no easing. Last year, you had to get it going right away and throw them into the fire. Go ahead. Let's play a little more Flo.
You were asked about Erik. Obviously, he spent some time on the COVID list. X has been out for a while. Common sense says if they're on for more than something going on. Those guys that have had long absences because of COVID, have you noticed beyond just the normal conditioning that they lose from a week of not practicing, that the illness might have some effect on their lungs that takes them another week or two to get that breath back?
You know, Adam, I think every case is different. I mean, they are. I mean, everyone responds to, an infection, that infection, sickness, injury. Everyone responds a little bit differently. So, obviously, if you're out for an extended period of time, your conditioning, whether it's the world-class athlete or you or I mean, it's not going to be as good as it was, the 10 days or 2 weeks prior. So that's always going to be an issue. It doesn't matter who it is. And we just we take it case by case and try to work the guys back and work them back into shape and get them out there as quickly as we can, because everyone needs to practice, everyone needs to prepare. We're closing in on cuts and the first week of the season, so we need the guys out there. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, everyone's a little bit different.
We'll go to Safin.
Flo, how you doing today, man? There were some reports this summer about some teams reaching out about Josh Rosen's availability. Obviously, I know you won't divulge much into that, but it seems that, whether Fitz holds up or he doesn't, or you may not be ready to unleash him to that Josh has a role to play here. Could you expand a little bit on that, or where Josh kind of fits in that quarterback competition?
And Josh is competing. He's competing with he's competing like everyone else. And I think, we're let's call it halfway through training camp. We're not anointing anyone starter, or, this is still a competition. So I think he's going to fit in, and his role is going to be what he makes it. Just like we said, every player at every position. So, unless you've seen our depth chart, you know what I'm thinking. And to me, we're still going here. We got a practice today where guys will be competing and trying to get better, and we're going to work for a second, third down in red area in 2 minutes. We'll work some 2-point plays today, and we'll just compete and see where this thing how it shakes out. So.
We got time for one more.
All right, so I guess there's one more coming. This one's interesting. So they asked him about Josh Rosen, right? And he says, well, Josh Rosen is competing, and he almost caught himself. Well, he caught himself in time, but he did not finish the sentence by saying he's competing with Tua, because that would become a headline. Josh Rosen competing with Tua for backup job. So he left it in general and just said competing. And he kind of paused. Is there any way you can back up that answer right there a little bit, Bill? And just so they can hear it again? Because notice how he pauses and he catches himself. And he's that alert with the media. And he's been that well trained by Bill Belichick, by the way, that even every word is it filters in his brain and out of his mouth, and he knows the impact of every word he can say. So when he's asked about Rosen, go ahead, Bill, if you're ready, please go ahead. No? Okay. It's all good. It's all good. All right, go ahead. We're ready.
Josh is competing. He's competing with he's competing like everyone else. And I think,
That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? He's competing with everybody else. He didn't want to throw Tua in there because he's really not competing with Tua, because we know Tua's the guy. You're not drafting a guy number 5 overall. You know what I mean? Rosen was a throw-in trade. Okay? Chris Greer goes, he saw an option to turn a second-rounder into 2 second-rounders and go get himself a freebie quarterback for cheap. And he said, what the hell? Why not take the chance? The kid might be good. Kid might be bad. It doesn't cost me anything. I just got to defer my other second-rounder to the next year, and I'll pick it up. And I'll get my player then. And he got him this year. Whatever. That's fine. That's really smart, personnel on their part. But the fact that the coach caught himself and stopped from saying, well, Rosen's out there competing with Tua, because then you kind of really put it out there. You know what I'm saying? And he really doesn't want to do that. He wants to say he's competing. So he's just competing in general. That way we don't know what he's competing for and who and with and for what and where he stands. It's just he's competing. So that way it gives also Rosen the let's say the hope that you can start, when deep down inside we know they're going to go with Fitz. And eventually, unless Tua's completely lost or physically suffers something, it's Tua next, not Rosen. He'll get leapfrogged.
I like the term that I started. Remember what I said? He's channeling his inner Belichick.
Yeah. No, it's well trained. All right, go ahead. Let's finish it off because it looks like the last question is.
Let's call it halfway through training camp. We're not anointing any one starter, or this is still a competition. So I think he's going to fit in, and his role is going to be what he makes it. Just like we said, every player at every position. So
keep it general.
Unless you've seen our depth chart, you know what I'm thinking. Then to me, we're still going here. We got a practice today where guys will be competing and trying to get better, and we're going to work for a second, third down in red area in 2 minutes. We'll work some 2-point plays today, and we'll just compete and see where this thing how it shakes out. So.
We got time for one more. We'll go to Joe.
Joe Shad.
Good morning, Flo. On Raekwon McMillan, where is he in his career development?
Raekwon's obviously started a lot of games in this league. Good tackler, good communicator, smart player, plays in the kicking game. He's still ascending. I think he's doing well. He's playing well in this training camp, and there's a lot of competition at the linebacker position between Raekwon and Landon Roberts and Calvin Munson and Baker and Kamu. So we just, we'll see where the chips fall. And again, everyone's still competing. This is practice, 7 of 14 in training camp. So we're right at the halfway point. No decisions have been made, but we're closing in. We're definitely making our evaluations, and some people are ahead of others. Yeah, you're not going to get that out of me today, Joe. But we're just trying to look. We're going to try to field the best team we can, and try to compete for an entire season. So, but Raekwon's playing. He's playing well, and I think he's a very good player in this league.
You got to understand what's going on with Raekwon McMillan, okay? And this is where you got to look at it on the football end. And this is where the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. All right, here's a kid that's going into his 4th season. His first year, he blows out his knee. He comes back his 2nd year. We all know he looked like he was completely lost, right? And then his 3rd year, these guys get him. Flores gets him, right? And it looked like maybe now you're talking about a different defense now that's in place. And he doesn't really fit the mold that you need as a linebacker that can stop the run, which he's good at, and can cover. He can't cover. And then to their credit, what did they make him last year? They made him a pass rusher. Why? Because on passing downs, they don't want him covering. They want him as an extra pass rusher because he's a better pass rusher than he is pass protector. And so, again, kudos to the coaching staff. Finding your strengths, hiding your weaknesses, right? Because you don't want to get him caught in space too many times because it's not a good thing for Raekwon McMillan if he's got to go out and cover. We all know it's not his strength. And so they found a role for him. So when you ask, like Joe did, about where he stands, you have to understand that this is a defense that's multiple. So Raekwon McMillan may have more shelf life for another year on this defense. But eventually, they don't want the guy that's a 2-down player. And then they made him a 3rd-down player only because they found a way to use his skill set as a rusher. Okay? Credit to them again on all of that. So it's a complicated question. And in Flo's mind, he doesn't look at it that way. He looks at pieces that he has. And then I'm going to use them situationally. In this case, I'm going to use Raekwon. In this case, if I know it's 3rd and long and I am more worried about their guys that are coming out, like if you're playing the Patriots, you may want Raekwon McMillan out because they've got several running backs that can come out of the backfield besides their midget receivers. And then that becomes a pain in the ass for Raekwon McMillan. But if they're not, they don't have a lot of pass catchers out there on a 3rd and long situation, and you put in Raekwon McMillan, you now use him as a pass rusher. But then again, your offensive coordinators that you're facing are also looking at you and saying, Raekwon McMillan can't cover. He's got to be out there as a rusher. So it puts you at a disadvantage as a defensive coordinator. So these are things that I don't think the average reporter's thinking about. You know what I mean? I know the coach is not going to tell you what I just said because in that, so they are in the process of filling out all those linebacker positions. And when they have all the right ones, I don't believe Raekwon McMillan will be one of those guys. Okay. But for now, because they're only in year 2 of the rebuild, they will find ways to use him. Understand? So that's kind of, I think, what's going on. And that's why it's not clear cut whether he's a starter or he's not. Okay? All right. You think anybody in the media is going to give them that kind of a breakdown right now of Raekwon McMillan, that question, or look into the question that they asked about Rosen and how he left out Tua? How many people are going to pick up on that locally? I'm just wondering. Just throwing it out there.
Well, that'd be a big donut.
Right?
Hopefully a glazed one.
Right. Because it's just like you just look at, oh, well, who's starting and who's not? Who's doing well and who's not? It's football, bro. It's kind of like chess. There's a lot of pieces in place, and they have different responsibilities. And then you've got to find the chemistry so they all have a job. And the problem is they all can't excel at their job if they can't do certain things.
You put yourself at a disadvantage when your guys on the field shows, oh, this is what they're doing.
Like Jordan Howard.
Like Howard, exactly.
Jordan
What's
Howard.
Howard going to do? He's going to run the ball between the tackles.
Right. Jordan Howard tells you right away you're running the ball. You're not pass catching.
Yeah, and you know something? Fantasy stuff, I saw somebody say they guesstimated that he would have 30 or 40 receptions. I'm like, you guys have never watched Howard.
Oh, yeah, no.
Come on.
Who said that?
That was on Fantasy, the thing with ESPN doing their thing. Somebody they project. They
Breida.
project him.
Matt Breida will have 40 catches.
Drafting, they have him
50
30. They have him 35, 36 as the number running back. Their number 35, 36 running back.
Well, no, he's going to get.
But they have Howard in front of Breida, which I don't understand. I don't see it.
He might be a touchdown vulture.
Who? Howard?
Howard. Yeah, when you're inside the 5, you're not giving it to Breida. You give it to the damn refrigerator with a football.
Right, but I could see Breida being a 700,
easy,
400 or 500 yard receiving.
Yes.
And having 1,200 yards maybe with
combined. Yes, I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you 100%.
And with that 10 for a point for, how's Howard going to outscore Breida?
Right. So that's the thing. In football, it's not that simple, right? And sometimes you're showing your cards. So when you have Jordan Howard on one side of the field and you have Raekwon McMillan on one side of the field, you're kind of showing your cards because they know what their strength is and what their weaknesses are. And so I'm sure when you see Howard back there, Breida will be complimenting. Or they might bring the Navy kid and line him up in the backfield with Howard and then send them out.
Great idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They might do those kind of things. So it's just not as simple and as black and white as sometimes it's asked. And then when the coach answers it, he's not really giving you all the facts because he just said in this press conference, I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking. You're never going to find out what I'm thinking. And by the way, Dougie Fresh says, oh, if the cannons fit, you must acquit. I like that. It's 1:00. It's the top of the hour. Let's take a break. We'll come back for the final hour, I think. Maybe, I don't know. We may go even longer than that. I don't know. I got plenty of things to talk about. Back with Mo right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty. We back. If you want to get in on the program, you can reach out to us on the text line 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in, Herman says Coach Flo is a gentleman, one of the reasons why players like to play for him. Pat in Nashville says, if you can get anything interesting out of an NFL coach, you are one hell of a reporter. You're right. But I think we kind of gave you a little interesting spin on what the press conference and what he's saying. So I think the way we decipher it for you, at least we add something to the press conference.
Sometimes by not saying anything, they say a lot.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So I don't know. I just thought there are a couple of points there.
You've interviewed enough guys. You've done this long enough. You get a feel of you know, and obviously the pedigree. You could see a lot of him channeling his inner Belichick, man.
Except in a much more decent way.
Oh,
and
yes.
And he's charismatic. He's respectful. He's not dismissive. He's not boring.
Let's just say he's got class.
Yeah. He's
okay.
Just,
and he's not a cheater, so he doesn't have that bad heart to begin with. I'm just going to call it like it is.
Yeah, it's just Coach Flo, you could tell, is wired differently. Roman Garcia says, good morning, Big O and Bill. Good morning. Romeo Garcia. Good morning, Romeo. Let's see. Verbal juke move by Flores, says Ian from Brooklyn. You are correct, sir. Well described. I like this dude more and more, says Dougie Fresh. Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about Coach Flo? You know what I mean? The only thing I didn't like that Coach Flo has done is how he handled the Kenny Stills situation with the Jay-Z songs. Like, I didn't think he needed to go there.
You're still holding on to that one thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's
the only thing you've ever won.
It's the only silly thing. But I mention it because that's how silly it is that there's really nothing with the guy.
Well, it also shows he's not perfect.
Of course, which is all of us.
Right.
Every one of us, we're going to screw up.
The fact that he
over and over
he
again.
asked his assistant coaches their opinions and actually applies it. I mean, he's just a classy guy, man.
Yep. Julio Khalil, who is Julius 305, by the way. That's right. He reminded me, Julius 305. He says, you're welcome on the mask for you and Bill. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Oh, bro, thank you, man. That's, like I said, the one that got me, you blew it away, brother.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually really nice, man. Too kind, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, Julius 305.
You know
Appreciate you.
You know what I am missing,
What's that?
Is the Dolphin one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I have to get, got to go with one of my 7 or 8 Dolphin jerseys I have.
Oh, God. All right, what else do we have here going on the program that we need to talk about? You saw Usain Bolt ended up getting COVID-19. We talked about it yesterday. He had a 34th birthday party, and the place was packed. It was in Jamaica. A bunch of Jamaican stars showed up also, obviously. I mean, it's Usain Bolt, so he's probably one of the, 3 biggest stars on that island or something. And so I would imagine a lot of people that were, famous in that country went to that party. And there are pictures all over and videos of that party. Guess what you didn't see in that party? Any masks or any social
we
distancing.
Received yesterday.
Yeah. No masks. Okay? And no social distancing. And that's why he ends up with COVID. His wife threw the party, and they were all over the place. I did learn something that I didn't know, and it was really, really cool. Do you know what his daughter's name is?
What is his daughter's name, bro?
Olympia.
No kidding.
How about that? Why not, dude? Come on.
It fits.
It's a great name, right? It's kind of like a mythological name, right, in a way. And then obviously, he's Mr. Olympics because all the gold medals. So why not?
Oh,
dude?
Greece,
Olympia, right?
Olympia Mount, yeah.
All of that. So yeah, why not?
And he tied a knot and put a bow on that. That's awesome.
That's fantastic, dude. But he actually filmed the video where he was in bed talking. At that moment when he filmed the video, he was waiting for the results, which we already know, and they've already been posted. So now he was already quarantining. Okay? So there you go. I don't know if you saw this, but there's 500 students in Alabama that have tested positive for COVID. 500
in Alabama.
In Tuscaloosa. The University of Alabama has reported more than 560 coronavirus cases across its Tuscaloosa campus since classes resumed last week, according to local reports. These are the morons having COVID parties. Okay?
Were these the ones competing to get it?
In Tuscaloosa.
These are the competition.
These are the idiots that had
Congratulations, you won.
Yes, exactly. Just like on UM, there's several, but they're off-campus, sororities or fraternities or
a lot
whatever.
of money at UM, and they have mommy and daddy have the money to have the kids live off campus.
Just a bit. Just a bit. So they reported on Monday night. It showed 566 coronavirus cases since last Wednesday. The figure doesn't include entry testing, which at main campus found 310 positive cases among its nearly 30,000 students. Stuart Bell said on Monday, the president of the University of Alabama, our challenge is not the students. Our challenge is the virus, and there's a difference, folks. The spike in cases comes as the city of Tuscaloosa on Monday announced the closure of bars for the next 2 weeks aimed at preventing further spread of COVID-19. You know what would also help? That you idiots actually take it serious. That's all. Put a damn mask on. We're lowering the positivity rate right now, okay? The death rate went back up again today in Florida. I think it's up to 168. Yesterday it was low, but it's always low on Sundays and Mondays. But Florida was pushing more towards 200. Now you're down to 168. Not good, but at least let's start trending in the other direction, And let's hope we don't cross 1,000 today in the country. That would be nice, and let's start bringing it down. I'd like to have 0 across the country, but see, here's the key. Now that we're starting to bend the curve a little bit, we have to stay with it, man. Stay diligent for a while now. See, I don't believe opening things up again because that's the problem. We have a little success, we start bringing it down, and then we think we're over the hump, and we're not. And we start respreading it all over again because it's not gone.
We talked about this. The original plan was 10 to 14 days of continuous flat and then another 10 or 14 of continuous down. We never did that.
No.
Let's stick to our original plan way back.
Yeah, we quarantined.
Because everybody that's done that in the world.
Quarantined for 45 days, bro. Okay? Well, somebody sent me because in Wuhan, they had this party. They had this what is it?
EDM.
EDM party. And they were all in a water park.
I'm willing to bet they were playing Zed.
Well, probably. They were in a water park, and they were all on floats and all that, all next to each other, no mask, no nothing. Now, they have completely crushed the virus over there. But guess what they did? They did 76 days of a strict shutdown. You could not leave your house.
For nothing.
Right. So
you're on the way to the hospital, that's it.
If everybody stayed in their homes for 76 days, you would have killed out the virus. Anybody that would have had it would have gone to the hospital already. They would have gotten rid of it already. They would have gotten all quarantined and all that stuff, and then you would have been on your way. But 45 days did not give us enough time. So now that we're working on it, now that we're headed in the right direction, we're not even anywhere near ending it. We've got to stay diligent on it. That's the key now. But look at that, man. 566 cases in Tuscaloosa. And that's why I don't give college a shot.
What was it, Notre Dame? They did 1,200 and something tests and 220, about a fifth, 20% positive.
Oh, man.
You know what's scary?
If an NBA player attempted to sneak a woman in to the bubble, if an NBA player, what do you think college football players are going to do? What would you do?
Oh, if you live on campus.
I know if I'm 19 and I'm a starting wide receiver, safety, whatever it is, in Alabama, I got to be honest. I doubt I'm worried about COVID. I'm more worried about getting laid every night. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm just being brutally honest. It's just you're not going to run into a bunch of Tuas. Okay? You're not running into a bunch of Tebows. You're not running into a bunch of Russell Wilsons. You don't have 100 of those on those teams. Okay? You're lucky if you have one. Okay? You're lucky if you have just one Tua. And I'm not talking about the player. I'm talking about the character is what I'm talking about. Russell Wilson, the character. Tim Tebow, the character. I'm talking about impeccable people that at their age, they would not go out. They would stay. That's rare, man. Most of them are, where's the party? Where's the babe? She slipped into my DMs. I'm slipping into her bed. I'm sorry.
The athletes would have to be isolated from the regular population
bubble
from school.
Yes. Yes.
Because you know how if you live on campus, man, if you live on campus, depending on where you could be anywhere from a roommate to living in a unit where there's 4 people. And that's just in your room. Once you go out the hall, you're all sharing bathrooms, man.
Same breathing up and down the hallway.
Everybody's in the lab. Everybody's at the library. Man, think about it.
Yep.
Go to the bookstore. Something as simple as that. Everybody's got to go to the bookstore to buy a book.
Yep. Big O, you had a great idea about fighting the virus last week, and you just repeated it. It's the best idea I've heard so far. What did I say? DJ Lloyd, what did I say? What did I say? What was those? Because if it's a great idea, I mean, it's probably my first one ever, so I'd like to actually write it down.
Lockdown for 76 days.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
maybe 2.5 months.
I mean, that's just kind of the only way we really can, I heard that the COVID-themed cupcakes were gone in a flash. Yeah, probably. COVID was faster than Bolt. Yes. That's what I tweeted out yesterday. I said, fast virus, man. That's a fast virus. It's a beautiful thing. But, yeah. So you got all of that going on in the University of Alabama. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, a little music notes. I always love giving you guys little music notes because obviously I'm always, checking out music. Remember we talked about Chris Cornell's biography coming out? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Those of you, if you love Soundgarden, I love Soundgarden.
Yes,
Soundgarden is fantastic.
Yes.
Chris Cornell, is one of the great voices, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you something. After I tell you this, what are you going to do about this biopic? The upcoming biopic, Black Days, is, according to its casting call on Backstage, a film based on true events about the last days in the life of the grunge music icon Chris Cornell. There's just one small problem here. Nobody from the film ever bothered to contact the Chris Cornell estate to let them know they were making it, or even ask him questions about Cornell's last days. Cornell's estate issued a statement to Pitchfork about the film saying it's not sanctioned or approved by the estate, and that no one contacted the estate for any information. So this might not be the most accurate movie ever made, and frankly feels a little disrespectful of Cornell's final days. Cornell passed away on May 18th of 2017. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time this month that Cornell has made headlines for less than stellar reasons. The Chris Cornell statue, which was unveiled in 2018, was on display outside the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle, Washington, and was vandalized last week. Why would you vandalize a Chris Cornell statue? What?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean, come on. That's where my protests and the other part of it, I draw the line. When I see you rioting, when I see you destroying property, I want your ass arrested. Okay? I want your ass arrested. I don't want you in a holding cell. I want to throw your ass into general population and scare you for a while. Okay? That's what I want to do. But now I have no interest in that biography or biopic. None.
This reminds me of like Jurassic Park. You do have some dinosaurs on your dinosaur. You do have some Chris Cornell facts on your biopic.
I mean, I would figure you would have the band involved, the entire band, management, right? His estate, to try to gather all the information to be as accurate as possible and to give, because if you
want to be factual.
Yeah, it's important, man. This guy means a lot to a lot of people that loved Soundgarden's not my favorite band or anything. I love Soundgarden. I'll listen to them anytime. But how many people? They do have millions of fans, and those people are going to take it personal. So you might want to, have a little bit of actual, substance behind it. And so I saw that story, and I was like, man, well, that sucks. I was actually looking forward to it. Now, I'm not so much looking forward to it. Metallica Mondays is over. There is no more Metallica Mondays. The Mexico City show they aired yesterday, and they are not going to air it anymore. Now, if you want to actually catch up with all of them, go to my Twitter page. I tweeted out a link. You could go to metalinjection.net if you want. It's a site that I check out all the time. And in Metal Injection, I tweeted out, Bill, but here you go. You can check it out. They've got the links to all the Metal Mondays that they've shown. So you can go back and catch the one in Manchester or in Paris or in London or in Chicago or in Lima, Peru, or in Berlin or in Dallas or Mexico, you name it.
I'm looking across. What it's like a good 16?
Yeah, because the pandemic's been going on for like 4 months, 5 months. So every Monday they would have one. So you figure, yeah, exactly. So this was it. The end of it. You will not get another Metallica Monday. You can actually buy a Metallica Monday shirt and everything at the Metallica website because it became a thing for a lot of Metallica fans and myself because I've watched at least half of these concerts. And I'm glad they've got the links up. I'm glad Metal Injection did that.
Reaper's making a phone call to that number right now and getting a shirt.
Yeah. So you've got all the links there to check it out. If you want, go to my Twitter page at Big O Show, and you could check out the Metallica Mondays links and check out all of that. Let's give you a little music history. First of all, in 1970, on this date, Emerson, Lake and Palmer gave their debut performance in Plymouth, England. In 1976, Epic Records released Boston's self-titled album. The record became the fastest-selling debut ever. More Than a Feeling, still one of the all-time hits, baby. Smokin' is my favorite song in that album. That is such a good song. In 1970, on this date, and if you ever went to Tropical West, Boys Only, Skating, Smokin' was the song they'd always play. And they also would play Foghat, Stone Blue. I remember that back in the day. 1970, on this date, Elton John made his live debut in America when he kicked off a 17-date tour at LA's Troubadour. Don Henley, Quincy Jones, and Leon Russell were all in the audience. Okay? Now, if you watch the Eagles' biography, which is the greatest rockumentary ever, all right, early on, they talk about when Don and Glenn Fry were trying to figure everything out and break in, they were part of Linda Ronstadt's band before they went on their own, because those two met on Linda Ronstadt's band. They got to know each other. They became friends. And then they said, hey, why don't we do a band together? Because we're kind of like the same guys. We have the same thinking. And so they went on to do it. And in that biography, they talk about the early days of the Troubadour and how they were with Linda Ronstadt and how they saw Elton John's first performance ever in America. And I just keep thinking about that, and I'm going, you bastards that were all loaded up in the Troubadour that night, back in 1970, and you're watching Elton freaking John in a little place like that. God bless you, man.
Was Neil Diamond doing his album? Because I know that
he's in that era.
Because I know that Neil Diamond, the night that he's like debuting his album, he had Elton John perform.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the starts.
Yeah.
I don't know which came. This is kind of one of those questions. Which came first?
No, because this is his debut.
This is the debut.
So this came first, and then that came after. That was like very early 70s. Probably a couple years later. No more than that.
You know what's?
I would say it's somewhere between 70 and 74 when that happened.
Thing that's always amazed me. Jimi Hendrix had to leave here and go there
to become famous,
and Elton John had to leave there and come here.
It happens. The Runaways.
Tell me, man.
The Runaways were huge in Japan, and they were like just like just a band here. They weren't really famous or anything. Like if you knew rock, you kind of knew of them, but it wasn't like anything, it wasn't Heart, in other words. Okay? Heart was a monster. Runaways was just like a little girl band. You know what I mean? And now I have all of Runaways CDs. I actually appreciate them more as the years have gone on and listened to their music because of the punk rock type of because they had this punk influence in their music. You know what I mean? And so it's a little bit of a difference. And so I appreciate them more. But anyway, just to think of the early days of the Troubadour where Elton John was there and Linda Ronstadt, that kind of stuff that you see in those days. God, amazing. Don Henley, Quincy Jones, Leon Russell. Are you kidding me? Back in 1979 on this date, The Knack started a 5-week run at the top of the singles charts with My Sharona. 1994 on this date, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant recorded their MTV Unplugged episode in London. I still remember the day I saw Page and Plant early 90s at the Miami Arena. Birthdays today in music sports. This is a hell of a day for birthdays again. First of all, we started in 1942 with Walter Williams from the OJs. If you love a little love train, a little OJs. Happy birthday to Walter Williams, born on this date in 1942. Happy birthday to Gene Simmons, Kiss bassist, singer, founding member, and of course, the man known as the Demon and the man with the long tongue. So Gene Simmons, born on this day back in 1949.
My favorite Kiss, Gene, man, hands down.
Yeah. Well, actually, my favorite song of Kiss is 2 songs. One is Black Diamond, and the other one is A World Without Heroes, which is sung by Gene Simmons. And in the album The Elder, it's not an album that's really like, it's probably one of their least successful albums. It's kind of under the radar. I like that album, but A World Without Heroes, I've never heard it live, but I love that song, man. I wish they would do it. What a shame. Back in 1951 on this date, English singer, songwriter, and founding member of Judas Priest, Rob Halford, was born. How about that? In 1954, his name is not Presley, it's Costello. Elvis Costello, born Declan McManus, singer, songwriter, obviously with the Attractions, Oliver's Army, all that good stuff. Born on this date back in 1954. In 1961, yes, Billy Ray Cyrus was born with a little achy breaky heart, or with Little Nas X, right? Old Town Road. He had that success recently. In 1962, born on this date in Lisburn County, Trim, Northern Ireland, Vivian Campbell, guitarist with Def Leppard, replaced Steve Clark after he passed away. He was also with Whitesnake and Dio. Vivian Campbell, hell of a guitarist, hell of a talent. In 1966, born in my year, born on this date, was Norman Rogers, baby, from Public Enemy. How about that, dude? That's a hell of a list today. Hell of a list for birthdays in music.
Some big names.
Huge names, man. Huge stuff there. Wow. That is awesome. So there you go. That's a couple of music news and notes for all of you out there that love your music. If you want to get in, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Speaking of music, one more note on the music side that's a little different. Kobe Bryant is getting a new tribute song, and superstar, NBA superstar Damian Lillard, you see him in that ESPN commercial where he's doing a little rapping, and if you don't know, he does rap, and he loves rapping, and he does all kinds of, he's actually, I think he has a record or two already out there. So Damian Lillard, or I'm sorry, he's released several songs. Maybe it's not a record. Damian Lillard is paying tribute to Kobe Bryant in the booth by dropping a Mamba-inspired track for NBA 2K21. And Snoop Dogg is also on it. The Trailblazers guard teased the song featuring the hip-hop legend and rapper Derek Milano on Kobe Bryant Day, which was yesterday, officially announcing Kobe will be released when the game comes out on September 4th. The teaser starts off with a post-game interview from 2013 when Kobe was asked about Dame's rookie performance and famously said, "That boy's serious, man." The lyrics are all about the Lakers legend, including lines like, "Ever since a young boy, I've been getting buckets. Put it back, Kobe, and I don't even got to look. I take the shot and hear swish. I don't even touch rim. When I pull it up, just switch. Just swish." I don't know. I can't rap. Anyway, of course, Lillard is no stranger to rapping under the name of Dalla and used some pull as being one of the 2K21 cover athletes to get the song on the game's soundtrack. When I found out I was going to be on the NBA 2K cover the same year Kobe was on the Legends cover, I decided to use my access to the 2K soundtrack to pay tribute to Kobe through music, Dame said on the track. And so there you go. So good stuff. Nice to see. I will say this. Yesterday on Kobe Bryant Day, it was cool, okay? But I have to admit, some of the garb that these guys were wearing was tacky and ugly, bro. I'm just saying. I'm glad that they gave him a tribute. I'm glad guys were honoring him. It's all cool. But, man, there was some stuff out there that some of the guys were wearing. I think it was LeBron or Harden, brutal shorts, dude. Like, it was ugly.
Russ was wearing a jersey. Harden was the one that was wearing a Kobe shirt and the shorts.
Oh, the shorts were terrible.
LeBron had the jersey on as well.
The shorts looked like they were 8 sizes big on him.
Well,
they look
some people like the look.
They look goofy as hell, dude. Oh, man. Super goofy. Are you kidding me? Let me see what we got here on the text line for all of you out there. Nobody knows what really works. Sweden didn't lock down, and they did fine, but they probably didn't have a lot of cases. That's the thing. CDC recently masks don't work, LOL. No, that's not true. Masks all work. What the CDC doesn't want now is the N95 ones, because when you breathe out, the thing sucks out and then the air comes out. So they're afraid that when you do breathe out on the N95 masks, that some COVID will come out of your mask. So you're not being, responsible. That's what they feel. So now, if you have an N95 mask, they're not letting you in some places. Some airlines are no longer allowing you to fly with N95 masks because of the valve. That's why. It's not that masks don't work. If masks didn't work, my brother, why do health professionals use it? Okay. I mean, come on. Let's go. The NHL is doing it the right way with the players are totally isolated. Yeah, NHL, NBA, and Major League Soccer did it the right way. There's no doubt about that. It's a huge risk once you leave a bubble, and you got to be in life like the rest of us, trying to avoid it. Some of these protesters have lost their mind. Stevie Ray Vaughan had a statue vandalized in Austin. I would kick their ass. I got to tell you, how do you vandalize Stevie Ray Vaughan, dude? Are you out of your mind? Come on. I get it if you're I don't even agree with vandalizing the statues. Just take them down and put them in a museum. That's all. All these statues, take them down. Yes, they're racist people and all that. You know, the part that's screwed up, here's the part that people don't understand about all of this. Okay? Are you all ready for this? Are you all prepared about all of this? Because I know whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I'm going to leave you with your head scratching, and then you're going to go, well, he's right. You might be a little pissed. You might be a little frustrated when I tell you this. All of America was pretty much racist 100 years ago. What are you going to do? That's how they were all brought up. It's not their fault. We evolved from cavemen. You understand that? We had to learn our manners. We had to learn how to eat at a table. We had to learn how to talk. We had to learn how to treat each other. We didn't know any better. From Romans to slavery to all of that. The whole thing was disgusting. You name it. They're all gross. But it's not their fault. That's how they were all raised. And if reincarnation does exist, you and I, 100 and 200 and 300 years ago, were racist and biased. Because you were either racist against something, biased against something else. Religion was like, oh my Lord, you would start wars for it. They didn't know any better. That's why we evolve. Because we learned. Okay? Women learned. Let me shave my underarms. It looks better. Men learned, hey, let me shave my face sometimes so I look cleaner. Let me cut my hair and style it and all that. We didn't walk around like that hundreds and thousands of years ago. That's all these statues and all these people that we're calling racist, it's all of them. Because they didn't know any better. They had no idea. It's like you evolve and then you learn and then you figure out, oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. We shouldn't do this. You know what I mean? But it's just part of it. So what are we going to do? Erase the entire history? We can't do it. But what we do is learn from it. But by acting violently towards it, you're just as bad as they are. I mean, if we have evolved, then we protest like human beings protest. We're not animals, and we go burn houses and buildings and police departments and tear down statues of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Chris Cornell. Do you have a life? Give me a break. Because that's really the problem. I mean, how are we? We cannot be happy with anything in the past. Because everything in the past was all screwed up. We didn't give women's rights. We treated blacks like slaves. The poor were crapped on forever in every country almost. Royalty, and then the rest, screw you. We evolved. We learned that that's not the way to do things. I mean, you know, sometimes people act like the past is a surprise to them. And when you look at it, it was a way of life. My Lord, you settled an argument 200 years ago with a gunfight in the middle of a road. And all they did was measure the guy, drag him out, and bury his ass. And that was normal. And they didn't have courtrooms. And if they found you guilty, they hung your ass. And they never even put you through a trial. And we figured out, hey, you know, a trial might be good. We might want to actually have like a judge. We might want to have people defend. We might want to give people rights. Rights? What are rights? Come on, man. I mean, it's just, it's hilarious sometimes. There's a part of me that kind of laughs about all of this because in a way you're so disgusted with the past. And yes, there's a ton of things that were disgusting about the past, but those people didn't know any better, bro. They were all raised like that. It's just so asinine sometimes. We get to an extreme. Am I wrong here?
No, you're actually right on.
I mean, you know, it's just nuts.
It takes a while for something to become the norm. There has to be an evolution.
Come on, man. I mean, go look at 1950 when they filmed Reefer Madness. Wow.
No, it was earlier than that.
Or whatever it was.
It goes back to the 1930s.
Okay, whatever it was. But look at the attitude then. And now we've kind of figured
Smoke
out.
a joint and go jump out the window.
You know, it's like, you know, come on. You know, it's just like we evolved, dude. Like, you know, women.
No, we haven't.
Women, they don't matter. We can't have women vote.
Marijuana.
All they do is clean the house and raise the kids. Are you kidding me? What the hell do they know?
Barefoot and pregnant.
Barefoot and pregnant. Think about it. That's how we treated women, bro. Come on. It's just everybody was raised that way. And then until we evolve and realize what the hell we're doing to each other, then we figure it out. Hey, that's wrong, actually. But it takes a while to figure all of this out. You know, hey, we used to crank up our cars. We don't do that anymore. You know?
We haven't evolved. If I'm not mistaken, marijuana is still a class 1 drug as far as the federal government's concerned.
But it's not looked at the way they were looking at it in Reefer Madness, is what I'm saying.
Well, yes.
Okay?
Right.
Even in the 60s, they eased up on it. And then by now it's legal in a bunch of states, medicinally. Everybody's learning now.
Recreational.
You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is everything evolves. Okay? And we have evolved as human beings.
I really like Bud.
Yeah, there you go. And we have evolved from the 90s and from the 80s. So, of course, we're going to evolve from the 1880s and the 1780s. Okay? I mean, give me a break. Actually, not everybody was racist 100 years ago. Look at all the people who fought against slavery in the 1800s. I get that, my brother, but even those people fighting for slavery, they dissed women. You understand, my man? So they all were racist or biased, is my point. And if you were Catholic, you probably hated something else in religion. You understand? Like, despised it. So those people that were fighting for slavery, they had their biases and hates, and they did wrong things too. It just wasn't wrong in their eyes, is my point. So it's not just about, don't lock in on slavery, on everything. Like I told you, from crimes that may have been committed by somebody or may not. But if you found somebody practicing a religion you didn't understand, they were probably a witch or something, and you killed them. And you lit them up on fire like the Salem witches. We've evolved now, right? Now when you see a witch, you just say, oh, how you doing there, Stevie Nicks? And then you just move on. You don't say anything. You don't burn Stevie Nicks to the ground. It's a joke, by the way.
Well, almost all of the people, the first white that came over, were either leaving for religious persecution,
right,
freedoms, or the jails got emptied and they wanted to populate and say, this is our property. Look at all the people we have over there.
Right. So
okay,
it's just
that's what it was.
We cannot avoid our past in the world. Okay, we just can't. And to think, And if you think we're going to be able to Clorox bleach the entire past, we can't. Okay? The beauty of the past is that it exists and we can learn from it so we don't make the same mistakes. And that's what we're doing right now. That's all. And those statues, yes, I don't agree with a lot of those people, but I wasn't raised like them. So I probably would be them if I was raised like them. You can't do anything about your environment. Your environment will shape you a lot of times. And if that's a way of life, then what are you going to do?
I like your idea of putting them in museums and stuff.
That's all you do, so you can learn from it.
If you're into history, I loved history, and I did. It says to know where you're going, you need to know where you've been.
Right.
And to put them in a place, because I forget, it was one of the rappers from England that had said, we don't need this thing out in the middle of the town square. We could read about it in books and learn.
Amen.
But put it in a place.
Right.
It's a great idea.
Right. It's the only way it should be handled. But burning things down and stealing and assaulting people and all, that's not, no, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. No. Not doing that. Before the 1900s, most white men couldn't vote either. They didn't own land. There you go. How come nobody mentions Kobe's issues with women and gay slurs, but he gets a tribute? Sorry, I had to mention it. Well, Dean G, let me ask you something. Do you know what happened that night in Colorado? Were you there? It was 1 a.m. I'm just wondering. Was it assault? Was it sexual? Was it a consensual thing? Nobody really knows. Again, are we going to go back to the 1500s? Are we gonna fry somebody for something we don't know that really happened or not? Because, women do actually also make sexual advances too. So I don't know. I'm not saying she's guilty or innocent, and I'm not saying Kobe's guilty or innocent. What I'm not going to assume is either one is guilty. And that's what you're doing. When none of us really know what happened, and he wasn't found guilty. I think there was a civil lawsuit, but most of these people pay off the civil so it could just go away because they're tired of the publicity and it's bad pub, even though maybe they didn't do it and they just pay people to go away. I don't know what happened that night in Colorado. Okay? I don't know. I don't know what happened with Mike Tyson in Indiana. Don't know. I have no idea. And so, you can look at it's subjective enough that if you want to look at it that way, you can. I'm going to look at it the way I want to look at it, that I don't know what happened with Kobe. And with Tyson in Indiana, I don't know if you know this, but the judge was a women's rights advocate, okay? And Tyson was he was seen making out with her in the limo, and then they went up to his room. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I can't go one way or the other here on this. So I'm just going to leave it neutral, and I'm not going to assume one way or the other. That's all. Because either side could be guilty. And again, let's go back to the 1600s, where you didn't have a trial, and you thought they stole it, or they did this, or they practiced this religion. Let's hang them, fry them, burn them. Let's see what else. Big O, I met Stevie Ray Vaughan in New York in 1985. We talked music for about 20 minutes. He was a very nice guy. I have nothing but love for him. You got it, bro. Stevie Ray Vaughan's a badass. Ian from Brooklyn says, spot on, Big O, 100%. Man of 1,005 Holes says, love these segments. Keep going, O. Pat in Asheville says, our kids will look back at some of these people today all night, Antifa, as idiots they are. There you go, Pat. You are 1,000% right, my friend. 50 years from now, some of the stuff we're doing now will be wrong to them. You're right. Now, will it be nearly as bad as what happened 100 years ago and 200 years ago? No. But that's because we were closer to animals then. We were closer to cavemen then.
A lot less educated people walking around.
Yeah, bro. Tons of uneducated people. I mean, it was just normal to walk around with rotten teeth. We evolve. Go to Moody's Dental. Get yourself some help. Let's see. Everything evolves. My weed used to have seeds. Not anymore.
Who was that, please? Who was that?
Pat in Asheville.
That's so
no, wait,
awesome.
no, I'm sorry. Ian from Brooklyn. That was great. Radically says the weed today is crazy strong compared to the 80s and 90s. Okay. All right. Well, I know we're going to a little extreme now. How dare this guy, Dean G, mention that about Kobe? God rest his soul. How dare you? Well, Alex, hold on a second, my brother. There's plenty of people that question Kobe about that night in Colorado. Okay? That's normal because
the day he passed away, it took 5 minutes for somebody to bring it up, man.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. It's still a mystery. We don't know. So because there's no proof one way or the other, people will assume he did it. Some will say he didn't. Or you'll be like me. I don't know, dude.
Do you remember some of the...
I don't know.
Do you remember some of the things that came out?
Is there a crime in saying you don't know?
No.
Why? So then why do we have to know about everything? Why can't it be the moment that there happens to be a neutral moment that sometimes you just don't have the facts and you don't have to act like you know everything?
Because
you saw me, I did an interview in Mobile today and they asked me about something. I go, guys, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know anything about it. You got to fill me in. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm all right with I don't know. If I don't know something, I'm going to tell you, hey, man, I don't know.
The thing about it is most people have come across it, and once something has come into your realm, you automatically take an opinion. Usually. Like when you look at somebody, are you attracted to them or not physically? There's that automatic human nature. It just...
You've defined your opinion already.
The thing about the Kobe, the one thing that always stood out to me, supposedly there was people that were had their balcony door open that were downstairs and never heard her scream. And if supposedly this was part of the evidence, if she's being treated the way she was, she'd scream.
I know, but I'm not going to indict her here, and I don't know. That's all.
One piece of. I'm just saying that's one piece of evidence I remember hearing, and it's like, yeah, this doesn't connect. I always felt that Tyson, you know what, he was a victim of the situations that were occurring because we had to remember
it's the state, the judge.
We had the Supreme Court situation with God, I can't remember his name, and all that he went through with the secretary. The Kennedy compound thing, this was all within months. Nobody got nothing. Tyson was kind of like the fall guy for like 3 or 4 of those rape cases type things. I always felt that way.
I don't know what happened, but with the Tyson thing, that one.
You know what?
Every time I hear about that case, I use the Mad Dog line. I put it through my nosy, and it don't smell so rosy.
Do you remember what his attorney's defense was? His attorney's defense was, you know what kind of guy this is. Why are you in his room at 1, 2, 3 in the morning? What are you doing there? And it's like, bro, that's not a real good defense, man.
That's wrong.
Come on.
Troy says, I never liked Kobe giving himself the Black Mamba nickname. Shouldn't others give nicknames to great athletes? You're probably right. But, I mean, if that's didn't Wade go World of Wade or whatever the hell it was, right? I mean, we made up Wade County, but he made World of Wade or whatever, which is a terrible, terrible name. I love D. Wade, but, man, that one was terrible. Dean G says, point taken. Radically says, Kobe was the victim. Troy says, Trump loves uneducated. Julius 305 says, Ian with chat of the day. Yeah, he did put the text of the day, no doubt. Let's see. Do you think the Finns have enough pass rushers? They have a lot more than they did last year. So, yeah, they'll be all right. I'm not worried about it. Alex, they're in year 2 of a rebuild with no offseason. They don't have enough of everything yet. Okay? In year 4, we should be saying, going into the season number 4 of Flores and Greer, we should say they lack pretty much nothing. Maybe a piece or two. But we've got to give them the 4 drafts. Okay? I give them the 4 drafts, and we're done. Next year will be draft 3, which is loaded. And then the following year, you should be pretty much killed off everything, mostly experience. Your team should be loaded. But going into year 2 without an offseason, my brother, you can't expect them to have enough of everything. You know what I'm saying? But I think they do have enough guys to work right now on pass rush. They have more options than they did last year. That's for damn sure. Okay? What else do we have? Sean Connery is 90 today. Yes. Thank you, Gus. Appreciate you, my brother. Little Sean Connery. Enjoying a little birthday today. All right. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Did I do 53 minutes straight now? Is that what the deal? Didn't I break at the top of there? Did I break at the bottom?
This is the second part of the second hour, by the way.
So I did not break at the bottom.
Cruising right along, and we're about to touch the 52nd minute.
Oh, wow. All right.
Only the 52nd minute.
Damn. I thought I was going to actually,
take a break? No, not you.
I was like, wow.
Why would we do that?
I did 53 straight minutes. I didn't even notice it. Let me give you my picks in the NBA today. We've only got 2 games because we've got the sweeps going on. The brooms are out, so we don't have a game till 6:30. What I do like is we got 2 really good games tonight. Okay, the boring games are out. Thank the Lord, the Heat series was boring, right? It's probably boring for everybody else. We enjoyed it. Some of the other series that have been boring, like the Sixers Boston Celtics series turned out to be boring. It was only dramatic because you're like, what's the train wreck in Philly going to be like? That kind of stuff. Anyway, we struggled yesterday. We went 2-3 against the number. Not a good thing for us. We need to be over 500 at worst or over at least. But we're still 14-11.
Gotta pay the big, baby.
Yeah.
Can't be 500, man.
Yeah, we're still 14-11 against the spread, so we're still 3 over 500. We need to kick ass today. So this is what we're going to do. This series, I've always liked the Jazz, and I took the points early in the first couple games. The last game, I actually went with the Nuggets, thinking that they would be desperate. And the Jazz, and obviously Donovan Mitchell, 51 points or whatever the hell it was? The young man put on one hell of a show. And the Jazz are just a better defensive team, period. And the Nuggets are still, I'll say they lack the maturity of the Jazz. They have the equal talent to the Jazz, or maybe even slightly more talent, because the Porter kid can really be a deciding factor in this game. But the Jazz maturity and the dedication to defense is why I thought they would win this series when it's all said and done. And that's why I picked them, and I took the points in the first couple games that the Nuggets were favored. Now, in this game, the Vegas is kind of caught up, and now the Jazz are favored by 3 against the Nuggets. The over and under is 221.5. The Jazz and the money line are minus 150. The Nuggets are plus 130. Having said everything I said, I am going to go with the over. 221.5. You thought I was going to go with the points? 221.5, because I actually think that if Porter shows up today and compliments the other guys, I think the Nuggets can make this a really tight game. And even 3 points, I'm afraid of laying the 3 points as a Jazz better, or I'm actually not confident taking the 3 points from the Nuggets because of their lack of maturity. But what I am confident is that a lot of points will be scored in this game. I am going over 221.5 in this game. Jazz, Nuggets. Clippers, Mavs. Clippers are favored by 6.5. What the hell do you think I'm going to do? What do you think I've been doing the entire series? All right, and I'm going to stick with it because it's been what has helped me all the way through. I am going Mavs plus 6.5 here. I have to go with Mavs plus 6.5. They are the better team. Now, I'm not sure yet if the big man is going to play or not, but the way Doncic has been playing, I expect them to keep it close within the 6.5. They've been the better team. I'll take Mavs plus 6.5 in this one. The 235.5 is just a little too high for me. And they could pass it. Obviously, I could be, cliche-ish. They could go over and they can go under. And the fact I have no conviction on either one, I'm staying away from it. But I do have conviction. I'm taking Mavs plus 6.5. They have proven to me that they know that if they can win this game, right, and if they can get Porzingis back, they have a great shot at advancing. They've been the better team. I'm going with Luka and plus 6.5. So those are my picks there. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Mark Dacascos. Mark Dacascos, if you watched John Wick 3 Parabellum, he was the martial arts guy at the end, the bald guy that fights with him, that kind of gives him the best match of them all. He's an actor. He's also a martial arts expert. I'm also a Hawaii Five-0 fan. And he played Yo Fat on Hawaii Five-0, which I could not stand his ass in Hawaii Five-0, which means he did a really good job with the role. So he's got a new movie out. It's called One Night in Bangkok. And we're going to talk to Mark when we come back right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big
Well, we promised you that Mark Dacascos would be kind enough to join us. He's got a new movie out. It's called One Night in Bangkok. And first of all, Mark, welcome aboard to the show, my brother. Thank you for taking some time here and joining us.
You're welcome, Big O, and thank you for having us.
Well, it's my pleasure. And first of all, I got to tell you, my brother, you did an awesome job in Hawaii Five-0 because I hated your ass in that show, okay? So that means you hit a grand slam, right? When the character nails it, that you're supposed to feel good or bad or whatever that character is. But Wofat is one that just drove me crazy on Hawaii Five-0, man. Great job.
I appreciate that, Big O. Thank you so much. As long as you don't take that outside the show, right?
No. I love you for that. That's the idea that you did such a good job that I appreciate that, as always. I mean, hell, I'm actually, on that show, I was more torn by his mom than by you, actually. I got to tell you at times. You know,
that's what I was thinking. You know, it's mom's fault, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's what my kids always tell me.
Yes, exactly. Good stuff there. Mark, you're a Hawaii guy, so this show is obviously originating in South Florida. So I'm just wondering, have you become a Miami Dolphins fan? Because, you know, we got a kid from Hawaii that we drafted 5th overall. So I'm just wondering how you feel about that young man.
Well, I feel like I should give you guys a big congratulations. You know, before I lived in Europe for a long time, but before I left, I remember Larry Zonka and Bob Greasy. So I used to watch the Dolphins a long time back. So that you guys have somebody from my home state is much appreciated. And again, big congratulations.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. He's such a good young man. It's nice to have one of those kind of guys that you know is going to represent your organization the right way. And you could tell Tua is just, you know, wired the right way. Mark, you got a new movie out. It's called One Night in Bangkok. And this is an interesting concept here as you get to, I don't know, I guess terrorize the city for one night.
Yes, one night. Now, disclaimer, you know, it is not a mini John Wick. I don't know how many movies can you know, match the action that John Wick gives us, but it is an action-driven thriller, and it does have some action, and it's you know, it's interesting because what do you do if certain things happen to you and your family? Do you let the law and justice take care of it, and what if they don't? Right. You know, so it's emotional, it's mental, and it certainly gets physical.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's right up your alley, obviously, but it seems like
thank you.
It seems like it's one of those movies that also it takes you down a path with the character to tie yourself emotionally to it, not just the action, but what's going on inside of that person.
Absolutely, and the thing is, you know, my character has certain plans, but he's open to have he's open to being flexible and to make changes. And you notice that, I mean, as you watch the movie, you know, each layer that is peeled away, does he go forward? Does he make a left? Does he make a right? Does he possibly stop and do something else? You know, so it is definitely emotionally driven. Things happen to some of his family, and it hits his core. It hits his core. It's life or death, you know, metaphorically and literally.
What was the thing that attracted you the most when you got that script?
Well, it made me think, you know, as a family man myself, I've got a wife and 3 kids, and if something happened to my family and it wasn't taken care of, which path do I go on? Do I expect or hope that other people take care of the justice, or would the anger and emotions in my heart get the best of me and get my body moving to take action myself? You know, and it's interesting when you really put yourself in my character's skin, what would you do? What would I do? And it was really fun to play and investigate my spirit and his spirit in the movie.
Mark Dacascos joining us, the actor from One Night in Bangkok. It is about to come out. You can watch it. He played Wofat on Hawaii Five-0. He was Zero on John Wick. And let me ask you, is Keanu, how good is he in martial arts? Is he trained in martial arts, or is he an actor that really does a lot of, I don't know, I guess, in-depth acting to get to the point where he can kind of, look like a pro like you?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, thank you. Keanu, I've heard Keanu say that he's not a trained martial artist, but on the other hand, he's done a lot of martial arts and action in his movies, and he's a wonderful actor who really puts his heart into every role. And of course, John Wick, we all know he did tons of training, both with gunfare, with the guns, and with martial arts. So I would say that he is skilled to fight, and I got to tell you, he's strong and fast. When he grabbed my arms and threw me around, I would have bruises for 2 and 3 days, and I wish they lasted longer because I had fun bragging that, yeah, Keanu Reeves, man, he grabbed me, and I've got bruises from him.
So let me ask you, the intensity of that scene there and how you got to get into that character, what's the difference in One Night in Bangkok? Because when you're a co-star, it's different than when you're the lead guy now. So talk to me how the preparation is different for One Night in Bangkok compared to John Wick.
Okay, so One Night in Bangkok is visceral and more, I would say, in terms of action, less art and more martial. And the emotions it takes place in as close to possible as this universe and this world is right now. Whereas John Wick, we're in the story and the universe of the Continental Hotel and Wick,
right,
and the High Table. So it's an alternate. It's a different universe or another universe, and we certainly play up the art of the martial. And there's gun fu, there's kung fu, there's all these different arts. So we play to that, and then you also have the idea that you have these bulletproof suits, and it's you get in that sort of sensibility, and also the character, of course, my character, puts so much heart and belief into Mr. Wick, so I have to play that sensibility with whatever Keanu is playing as Wick in that scene. We shot that final fight scene over the course of a month. We started, and then we went off and did a couple of other scenes, and then we'd come back a few days later and do that, which is good because it gave my body time to heal from being thrown around. And, but it was difficult because every time you get in there, we're doing that fight, and it was super intense. Fun, but intense. Whereas One Night in Bangkok, we shot that whole movie within a month, and it was emotional every scene. So it was just a completely different sensibility.
Zero has a dry sense of humor in John Wick. How is Kai in One Night in Bangkok? Is he intense? Because obviously you're on a mission, just like John Wick is. But is there any? Do you have a little lighter side to you while you're terrorizing Bangkok?
Yeah, not really.
No?
I mean, the thing is with Kai, he is sort of in disguise until he's found out. So nobody really knows what he's doing, and up until the first situation, the audience doesn't know. Although I think we know now, but the other characters in the story don't know yet, and so it's a bit of a mystery what he's doing there and why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, I got to tell you, and we're talking with Mark Dacascos. One Night in Bangkok is the movie. You got to check it out. And Mark, the other thing I found out is you're definitely an American. You're as American as it gets because I'm born in Belle Glade, Florida, which is rare that I'm actually a real Floridian, actually. My parents are Cuban and Spanish. Now, from what I understand, you're Japanese, Filipino, Spanish, Irish, and Chinese heritage. Man, you're a bigger mutt than I am.
Hey, well, you know, in Hawaii, man, if people come there, they fall in love with Hawaii, they stay, and then everybody sort of mixes it up. You know, we're all mixed. Yeah. My grandfather came from Kentucky, you know, so and I had no idea. I did one of those DNA testing, and I thought he was pure Irish, but he's Irish, English, and Scandinavian. So I'm a quarter of whatever my Raymond Lloyd McVeigh grandfather gave me from Kentucky.
That is just freaking awesome. And Mark, before I let you go, I gotta tell us the story on how you became an actor, because it's always interesting how there's tons of people that fly to Hollywood, go to New York, you know, they live in a little hole somewhere. They have 8 jobs to try to become an actor. And the way you became an actor was just completely different. Can you explain it to us?
Absolutely, Big O. So, so I was born in Hawaii, lived in Colorado, and then my parents moved us to Hamburg, Germany. They were both kung fu teachers, both of my parents. At 17, I moved to Taipei, Taiwan, because I had seen Jet Li in a movie called Shaolin Temple, and I thought to myself, that's me. I love martial arts. I love spirituality. I want to do good things for people, and I don't want to get caught up in the modern life. I want to live the traditional way. So I went over there, and of course, things didn't work out. And the main reason is because after 4 or 5 months of being there, my uncle from Hawaii came to Asia, and he was a performer. He was in a dance troupe, and he brought his hula Tahitian dancers to Taipei, to Taichung, actually, a city down south, and invited me to go watch. And I watched him, and specifically the female hula dancers, and figured out that I kind of like girls a lot. So I did not go the celibate monk route. You know, eventually I married a beautiful Texas girl, and we have 3 kids. But anyway, I found my way back a year later, in San Francisco, Chinatown. I was now teaching Kung Fu for my mom, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And on a lunch break from teaching classes, I walked down Chinatown, and 2 gentlemen stopped me, asked me if I wanted to audition for a movie. I said, thank you, but absolutely not. And they asked why. And I said, well, I'm not an actor. And they said, well, do you have any interest? And I said, actually, no, but thank you. They gave me a card anyway and said, if I change my mind, give a call. My mom, I told my mom, and she said, you know, life is a big adventure, and you don't know until you try. So although you've had 0 acting classes, go audition and just see how it is. Cut to, I call up, I audition. 3 days later, I get the call, and I got the part. First day on the set, the director tells me that we're doing the scene. He knew that I spoke German, so I'm going to improv a scene in German with this beautiful young actress who also speaks some German. And I said, great. I said, what do I do after that? And she goes, well, pretend you haven't seen your girlfriend in a while, and then I want you to end up making out with her. And I said, okay. You know, it's kind of strange. I didn't really know her, and you know, I'm going to make out with her. Anyway, and he yells, action. I walk over there. We do some dialogue, and then we start making out. And he yells, cut. But, of course, it's my first time. I don't know what cut means, so I just keep going. You know, he's like, cut, stop, Mark. And to find out later, that was the beautiful Joan Chen. And that was the director, Wayne Wang, who later went on to do the Joy Luck Club. So that was my beginning of acting. And I thought, you know, of course, as a young guy, I thought, wow, this is great. They're paying me to kiss a beautiful girl. But deeper there, I get to tell stories and make people happy and inspire if I'm doing my job right.
So, when he said cut, did you tell the director, wait, I like girls? Did you tell him that?
Big O, I think he figured that out.
That is awesome, man. It is from Lionsgate Entertainment. The movie is called One Night in Bangkok. It is available now on DVD, digital, and on demand. You got to check it out. Mark Dacascos, kind enough to join us. Mark, before I let you go, what was the most challenging thing that you have never done in movies that you had to do in this one? Is there something?
Oh man, yes. Well, especially in this one, it's character driven. So, two things. I had to come in every scene knowing what happened to my character's family, and then, I don't play a professional hitman. He's something else. But yet my character does have some fight training, so I just had to make the fighting a little bit more untrained and coarse and more animalistic and visceral. So that was a challenge, especially coming off of John Wick, where my character was a fighter guy. So, it's just got to tweak and dial certain things down for each character.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. One Night in Bangkok. Mark, thank you for taking some time. I look forward to having you on again. We got to have you on in a couple of years when Tua's raising a Super Bowl trophy. Okay, representing Hawaii.
Oh,
so,
right. That's great, man.
We'll definitely do that.
Thank you.
But I look forward to seeing the movie, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. I really enjoy your work, man. Continue your fantastic career and stay safe, my friend.
Orlando Digo, thank you. Miami, aloha.
You got it. There you go. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more right here on The Big O Show. Well, maybe no break. We'll just come back here, and we'll just continue the show. But we thank Mark Dacascos for joining us. I thought that was it was a fun interview. It was an interesting interview with him. We did it earlier in the morning before we were on the air. And so he actually sounded pretty good for waking up early in the morning. You know what I mean? Like when I do an interview this early, I got to try to make sure I clear my throat out, not like Bill, but just get ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself a little, jacked up. But I thought it was a fun interview with him, a character that you've seen in different shows and movies and things like that. So the movie is One Night in Bangkok, and it's already out for digital. You can go check it out and support Mark. And thanks to him for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Troy Ortiz says, great interview. Oh, Mark sounds like an awesome dude. Man of 1,005 holds. Loved the interview, too. So I'm glad some of you out there actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, actually. It was good. It was a good interview.
Oh, guy's cool.
Right?
I mean, down to earth.
Yeah, it was cool, man. And it's an interesting story how he became an actor, which is just like by chance, pretty much.
Yeah, and the first thing out the block, you're making out with the girl.
Right, yeah. Ian says, the trailer isn't too bad. Gonna check out his movie, Good, man. Check it out. Check out the movie. Give him I mean, he's a good actor, and he's a martial arts guy, so it should be an entertaining, movie overall. So I'm looking forward to it. We do have breaking news. Lionel Messi has told Barcelona he wants Audi. So he wants to leave my Barcelona squad, and I don't know where he wants to go because I'm not a football insider. I know he would look good in a Inter Miami uniform.
Didn't they just change coaches, and he had just had a meeting with I thought I saw the last few days.
Apparently,
he met with the new coach for the first time.
Apparently, he's not happy with anything going on in Barcelona, so he wants out. So now they've got to try to, trade him.
Inter Miami.
And
Miami.
Problem is, brother.
I know.
Problem is
I know.
The transfer fee is just,
Oh, for him?
Yeah. And
how much are we talking?
I don't know yet because it won't be as big because he's old. So
it won't be the 200, 300 million.
Right.
No.
I don't believe it'll be that much because you're not going to get him for that long. So it all depends on what because you've got to kind of break down the transfer fee along with the salary that you got to pay him. So then that's how you figure out what you're paying him every year.
It's going to end up costing you a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
But you may have to pay $100 million just to get to talk to the guy.
Just to get him on your team. Yep.
Man.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal is. And I don't know if Miami's willing to spend that kind of money, but wow. And you know what? You know what's frustrating? If you're Jorge Mas, even if you wanted to spend that money, you can't celebrate with the new stadium with a full stadium, because that's what you want. You had a guy like that, there won't be a seat in the house. Okay, you'll have to build an extra stand somewhere. I don't know if you can, but you'll try to add another level or something if you got a guy like that. I mean, that's how nasty it is if you add somebody of that ilk. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Damn. But no. I'm just having fun with it. I know nothing.
Just because of...
I know I work with Inter, but I don't have any insight whatsoever in all of this. So I'm just having fun with it. But it would be cool to see Messi in an Inter Miami uniform.
There hasn't been any fans in any stands.
Right,
whatever team you call.
But if you make an addition like that,
you'd want it.
You want to cash in, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. That was my question. Does that factor kind of change the market right now because of how everybody's been kind of like their purses have been taken away and the purses haven't been replenished? And I can't even get people to come to the game and sell them a hot dog to make the money to get back and pay you.
Right. You might
like, is this a bad timing for him?
You'll be able to sell kits because obviously anybody might get somewhere else. But you won't sell as many kits because not everybody's working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those
It's
deals.
a hell of a time to be in this position, right?
Yeah. Carlos says Messi has a $700 million Euro clause, but they will reduce it since he states he wants to leave. Yeah, no, there's no way they're going to pay that kind of money, especially at the stage of his career. But the transfer fee is going to be, what do you got there? What do you got, Josh? $258,449,884.50. That's the transfer fee. Damn, you got it right down to the penny, brother. Maybe the Finns could sign Messi. What would he play? Is the question. Julius 305 says, looking forward to the movie as well. Herman says, Guy is cool. He is. He's cool. I enjoyed the interview personally. I hope you guys did too, because it was fun booking it, and I'm glad we were able to get him on. Another thing that went on in sports, they fired Brett Brown yesterday from the Sixers, and you know that. Do you remember Josh Richardson, right, with the Heat? And you know he's there with them, right? But what I thought was really interesting was that when they were talking about firing, or when they fired him, and when they brought up the discussion to Josh Richardson, he basically said there was no accountability in the organization. And when you hear that, and I'll give you the quote, okay? Brett Brown fired as head coach, the team announced. Game 4, Josh Richardson said, I don't think there was too much accountability this season, and that was part of the problem. Now, you got to remember, Josh comes from a place in Miami where there's accountability for everything, okay? From Pat Riley to Erik Spoelstra to all the assistant coaches to every player, you're held accountable in that organization. Nobody passes the buck. Nobody blames anybody else. There's a structure, right? There's a culture in place. And that's the problem. The Sixers have two problems. One is culture, and the other one is philosophy. And Brett Brown was a guy that at times I could disagree with some of his moves. I think his players did too. But I also have to say, at times, I have to disagree with the front office. And they chose to go big. They chose to go slow instead of going smaller and being better shooters and having a faster tempo and pace to your game. And because they chose to stay with basketball from the past, that's how they ended up, getting eliminated, because they chose the wrong philosophy in this game. Remember when we were talking about earlier with the Heat, And I told you, Riley screwed Spoelstra in the year where he settled for James Johnson and Hassan Whiteside and those guys because he was bringing basketball. He was taking Heat basketball backwards. Whereas Spoelstra was already of the mindset of positionless basketball, a lot of shooters. He was coming off the LeBron era with a lot of shooters around LeBron because that's how he felt that they needed to go in, and they did not go in that direction with those other guys. And now they got rid of those guys, and they were able to turn over the roster, and you've noticed, it's a smaller, faster, better shooting roster. Okay? Whole different ballgame. Philadelphia does not have a culture in place. Philadelphia does not have the right front office. Elton Brand should also be fired. Okay? People in the front office need to pay the price here too. I can't tell you that Brett Brown was perfect, but I can't lay all the blame on Brett Brown. I got to lay some on the players, and I got to lay a lot of it on the front office. Because you made the decisions to give Tobias Harris that ginormous contract. You know, you made a decision to give the big Atlanta forward now that went over there. Now I'm forgetting his damn name. The kid that was he was in Boston too. Damn it! Somebody help me out on the damn chat board. So, you made mistakes. Okay. Simmons and Embiid are not a mistake, but they have their limitations, okay? And Simmons can't shoot. So if he can't shoot, but he can defend, he can facilitate, he can attack the rim, okay, that's fine. But then the other three guys that are on the court with these guys must be able to shoot and shoot well. Okay, Al Horford. Thank you very much, Troy. You know? So you've got to handle this the right way. And the front office didn't handle it the right way. Brett Brown didn't handle it the right way. I don't believe Joel Embiid is as mature as you really need him to be as a star. I mean, let me ask you something. When Embiid is like, well, I know I've got to work harder and I've got to be more motivated for this, that, then you're not a superstar, dude. You're just not. You're a malcontent. You're a really talented player that can't seem to find the consistency. Do you have to motivate Bam? Do you have to motivate Jimmy? Do you have to motivate Wade? Do you have to motivate Alonzo Mourning? Either you're a professional or you're not. And that's one of the things that, like, remember earlier in the season, well, you know, I was trying to be serious. I wasn't playing with enthusiasm and this and that. He was coming out with all this crap. I'm like, what the hell is this, dude? Either you're a star or you're not. And when you're a star, you bring it every night because it's in you. It's natural. It's normal. I don't got to motivate Bird and Magic. I don't need to motivate Dane Lillard. You understand what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard doesn't go in with, you know, I'm not that interested. I'm not that motivated. I got to bring more enthusiasm. You never hear that. They can have bad games. Bad games can happen to any player, and that's a whole different ballgame than talking about, you know, your attitude and your energy and your weight and whatever and your conditioning. And get the hell out of here, bro. And for Ben Simmons, you can't act like a jump shot is the coronavirus. You can't act like a jump shot is, you know, the plague. You got to get into it, bro. You got to work your ass off and shoot better. Jason Kidd was not a good shooter, made himself into a serviceable shooter, even from three-point range. Magic Johnson, not a good shooter, made himself a serviceable shooter with that little shot-put shot he had. Plenty of guys. D-Wade was not a good shooter. They made him a better shooter. He never was a great shooter, but he became a serviceable shooter. He worked at it. Ben Simmons, you got to work at it, dude. So I got to blame the players. I got to blame Brett Brown. And I got to blame the front office here. So you could fire the coach all you want. Your problems don't end there. You don't have the right mix of players. Your leaders aren't mature enough as it is. You know, when they and the more I see of Joel Embiid, the more I'm convinced there's no way he's a Heat player. Too much clowning around and buffoonery and all that stuff. I'm sorry. So it's nice. And now they've got different coaches lined up. You know, they talk about Tyronn Lue, which I'm still trying to figure out what's the magic behind Tyronn Lue because I disagree with it. Dave Yeager has had, been around the block a little bit. Email Udoka, who was a former, I want to say Golden State Warriors player. Udoka played on a couple of teams. He's also a Sixers assistant, but because they fired Brett Brown, the thinking is that they won't hire any of their assistant coaches. They want to start off clean. And then Jay Wright was mentioned from Villanova. Now, he's already coached at Villanova and done amazing things at Villanova. He's a great college coach. I normally would tell you I don't think Jay Wright would take the Sixers job. But, and he shouldn't because they don't have shooters and they don't have a lot of they have no cap flexibility unless they can get somebody to take Tobias or Horford for a shooter. And I don't know who's going to give you that. Okay? I don't think they're trading Simmons or Embiid. But I found it interesting because I think Jay Wright in the past could not be had. But the direction that college basketball is going in, where you're not going to have a lot of stars left over anymore, those stars are going to sign with the G League, and they're going to take that $500,000 that they give them, and they're going to play with grown men and actually get better prepared for the league by playing with professionals already. They might be a lower tier professional right under the NBA, but they're above college and under the NBA, and they're pros. And they're 2, 4, 5, 7-year pros. So they're seasoned. That will help any young player that gets into the league and starts playing. Okay? It's like Pusilic. I'm not pronouncing it right. Anyway, whatever. Pulisic. It's like Pulisic leaving us and going to Europe. And he's going to play at a much higher level. It'll get him better prepared. That kind of stuff. Jay Wright, in a perfect world, if they had shooters, I would take that job. And I think if there's an NBA team out there that has maybe a right of mix available, I think you can have Jay Wright. I don't know if Jay Wright will take the Sixers job. I say he won't because I think Jay Wright will look at that place and say, no, man, I'm stuck in the abyss with that team. I don't know how I'm going to get shooters in a league where you need shooters. So common sense tells me Jay Wright says, I'll make lots of money at Villanova. I'll stay at Villanova and I'll coach the kids. I'm not going to go to the NBA where I'm going to be set up for failure and I'm going to have the Philly crowd, which is brutal, killing me. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of don't expect him to take the job because of the way that team is constructed. It is not constructed, no matter who the coach is, to actually beat upper-tier competition in the NBA playoffs. Let's see what happens with the Sixers after firing Brett Brown. Very, very interesting.
It'd be funny. The guy changes address, stays in the same town, and goes from hero to hated.
Yes. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't go hero to hated, but Jimmy Johnson failed here.
You know what? The thing that saved him was he didn't go from Canes to Dolphins. He let
Even worse. Even worse. He wins a national championship. He wins 2 in Dallas, 3 because he set the other coach up with the 3rd because it's really his championship, and he comes here and he flops.
Well, look,
you proved you can do it in college and the NFL, and then you come to the NFL town where you won a college championship, and you flopped.
Yeah, but because of what he did here as a Cane and the way he
saves his ass.
Well, yeah, and he's always said, look, I graduated from such, I coached. My school is UM. He's always been a Cane. Hard, and that it does say, because from from a Dolphin standpoint, dude, I thought
we all thought we were headed somewhere special.
Because you know what it was? He built us a defense. We hadn't had a defense since Arnsparger.
Yes.
We thought we were on track.
Yes. But you do know, you do realize.
But we don't. I'm not happy with him.
You do realize that he had more failure in Miami than success, and I'm saying overall.
That last game, man. That's always. It is. That is a mark.
Jimmy couldn't beat Oklahoma when he was at Oklahoma State. Okay?
Nope.
And when they brought him here, it was like, dude, that guy can't win at Oklahoma State. Why would he win here? And you think about it. There's Jimmy Johnson.
The only 3 losses those 3 years?
Jimmy Johnson walks a fine line. Understand this. Let me explain how his world walks a fine line. Okay? He wins the championship because they're loaded here, but he lost a championship that he should have won by stupidity.
Just hand the ball off.
Just hand the ball off to Alonzo Highsmith, and you win. And his knuckleheadedness kept allowing Vinny Testaverde to throw the ball. Correct? He then goes to Dallas, and he wins those championships, but he didn't want Troy Aikman. He had to be convinced of Troy Aikman. Okay? So he had to be convinced in order to have the dynasty. Because if you don't have Troy, I don't know if you get the championships. Not exactly sure. Because if the guy, Gil Brandt, is not on your personnel staff and he's blown out with Tex Schramm and Landry, then who convinces you of Troy? And you never draft Troy. And maybe you never win any of the championships. Maybe you're really good, but you fall short because you don't have a quarterback. You ever heard of that, Chicago Bears? So you know what I'm saying? So things like that happen all the time. And then he comes to, in Miami, his best team he lost with. The one he won was not his best team. And then he comes to Miami as a Dolphin coach, and we're going to be special, and they were never special. And they were thoroughly embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs. They won a couple, and then they lost in the second round, embarrassing fashion. If you really look at it, if you're objective, he walked a fine line of failure and success that I can make a case for either one, dude. I can make a case for, he was a good coach, but had a couple breaks that he needed badly. Okay? And clearly he needed help because he wasn't smart enough to figure out some things. Just saying. He's not the godlike that you would put. It's not the football god that sometimes we make him out to be. He's really not. Okay? There were breaks that went his way. And he's kind of a riverboat gambler, and some of the gambles paid off for him. But there were certain things that, without the proper guidance, it's like he needed a Gil Brandt that day in the Fiesta Bowl. He needed somebody to grab him and say, yo, do you remember Vinny choked his ass out against Tennessee in the Sugar Bowl?
We've gotten 60 yards down the field, handing off to Alonzo.
Are you going to keep allowing him to choke this thing out? How many more? You know what I'm saying? Just, it's nothing personal. I'm just being brutally objective. Okay? It's just, if you really look at it, okay? There's that fine line, dude.
You know what? Here, I'll tell you what it is. Because if you remember the first year, we're 8-4. We lose to UCLA. And that's when he changed his coaching staff. We go 8-5.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then from there is when we start to ascend. 85, if Vinny doesn't throw a bunch of interceptions, we could have won the championship.
Right.
Because Penn State is down here, the only undefeated team, losing to Oklahoma.
That's right.
Well, we beat 3 years. We were the only team that beat them. There are 3 losses in those 3 years.
One of the greatest
86.
One of the greatest UM plays ever is Vinny holding the helmet of a linebacker and throwing right over his head and completing a pass. I mean, Vinny was physically, he was.
Oh, nobody.
My Lord,
at
what a
UM.
freak.
Yeah, he probably had the most gifts.
Physically?
Yeah, physically.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
No doubt.
Only Kelly.
And I mean, you think about that.
It's only
85
Kelly.
could have won. 86 should have won. 87 we do.
Yeah.
88, obviously, we all know Notre Dame
Right,
and
right,
the blah,
right.
blah. But you look at that built our dynasty.
Yeah.
And that's him.
No,
and
no.
that's coming off an
Well,
8-5 start.
My point is, he could recruit, but there were key decisions that in his life.
If there isn't somebody to hold his hand,
Yeah,
and put him in the right direction,
right? He screwed up 87, right? And he almost screwed up the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? So, because Steve Walsh is not winning those championships for you. I'm sorry. I'm just no, not happening.
even though he was 10-0 as a starter.
Yeah.
You're not buying it, huh?
No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Sometimes you're a product of the people around you are so good that they carry you. Now, that Dallas team could have been good enough to carry him.
I think of that offensive line.
Yeah.
They were all pros.
Oh, no, yeah.
They had Emmett.
It's one of the greatest lines ever, dude.
And, yeah, no doubt. I can remember Madden always talking about how hard they're working and look how far the sweat is down the guy's leg. You know,
Mike
sweat
Lynn,
marks.
another great break for him where he gets 4,000 picks for Herschel Walker. You know what I mean? It's just, he's awesome and all that, and he's a Hall of Famer, but, I just look at what really happened, and, there are moments where you like.
This could have gone horribly awry.
Could have gone the other way for him easily, man, in the process. NorCal says Parcells is only respected because Belichick coached on his staff his great years. Parcells is a fraud. Well, he never got anything done without Belichick, so that's just obvious. Nobody can really argue that. He never got over the hump with New England, never got over the hump with the Cowboys, and was an embarrassment with the Dolphins. So I can't argue with that. You know what I mean? Oh, would you trade Embiid for Hero straight up? No, I would not. No. Do you know why I wouldn't trade Hero for Embiid? I have Bam. What do I need Embiid for? I have Bam. And Bam hasn't developed a three-point shot that I can play him at the 4. So he can be a stretch 4 for me. So I have Bam, who I never have to motivate. I have Bam, who is never fat and out of shape. I have Bam, who is never, ever dealing with any kind of immaturity. I need shooters around Bam. I'm keeping Hero. So and plus the salaries of Hero and Bam, of Embiid and Bam and Hero are going to be 2 different salaries. No, not doing it. Not doing it. That's because I have Bam. Now, if I didn't have Bam, then maybe you get the big guy that can shoot, and then you hope that the Heat culture motivates him and gets him into shape. Yeah, that's the other question I have for those of you that you want to throw that around. Is Embiid a Heat player? Is he a guy that fits Heat culture?
No.
I agree.
Not at all.
I agree 1,000%. I don't believe – I think you have to take a chance and say we think we can teach him and he'll do it and all that. But from what I've seen already in his career, he's not a Heat player. No. I'm sorry. I just don't see – I don't see that team going, yeah, no, that's a guy we want – I'm not saying he's Whiteside, but I'm just saying that there are some Whiteside-ish type issues with him. Okay? Let's put it that way. Way better player than Whiteside. But on the maturity side and those kind of things, yeah, he shows me a little bit of the Whiteside stuff. Okay?
You get to be a funny, laid-back guy after you have a couple rings. You've done the work, like you can't. It's like putting the cart before the horse. You can't do that. You have to have the rings in the
Shaq.
Right, exactly.
Shaq was always like that.
He wants to be
But
Shaq.
Shaq was dominant from the get-go and kicking ass and taking the Magic to the finals and then went to the Lakers and all that stuff. And Shaq can be the goofy guy, but when he got on the court, he wasn't the goofy guy. He wanted to put your ass through a rim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm totally with you there.
Embiid just hasn't. There's not enough of the work.
Right.
There's
always,
and the biggest thing is, like you said,
something there.
He is a really, really good player. He could be a great player, and he takes advantage of how good he is. Like Des Bryant, I'm going to learn how to run. I'm going to learn how to run routes now, dude.
Right.
You've been in the league for 6 years. What do you mean you're going to now learn how to run routes?
Yep. Herman says, "What do I think of Rex Ryan? Very good defensive coordinator." That's what I think of Rex Ryan. There's nothing wrong with being a great offensive coordinator, a great special teams coach, a great defensive coordinator. Sometimes you're put in a position where you shouldn't be, and he's not a head coach. That's all. But you got to compartmentalize this whole thing and give the man credit at what he does know. And he knows defense, and he's kind of a Neanderthal. He is a Neanderthal, and he kind of communicates that way. And so it kind of goes with defensive people. Okay?
His dad is right there with Arnsparger, in my opinion, two of the best defensive coordinators of all time.
Yes.
There's no questioning. Be your head coach? I don't want Buddy Ryan.
No, I don't want Buddy Ryan as my head coach either.
No.
Nope. So, I'm with you there. So I like Rex, but only as a defensive coordinator. I wouldn't hire him ever as a head coach because he's just a raw guy. He's full of, BS. That's all it is. And head coaches are a different breed. Like what I see from Flores, please, you don't see that from Ryan, bro. Let's see. What else do we have here? Embiid gets injured. I wouldn't trade him for Hero. Yeah, no, that's definitely another thing. Embiid is always injured. Do the Finns need a kicker? Not right now. The kid last year did all right. So listen, man, they're rebuilding right now, Raging Dolphin Maniac. They're going to, like I told the other caller, they're in year 2 of a rebuild, bro. They're going to need a lot of things. So nothing's etched in stone and nothing's filled up and nothing's signed, sealed, and not even the quarterback position. As much as we like Tua, he still has to get it done.
Regarding Hero, this kid has too much more ceiling to reach. That
oh yeah,
there isn't many players that I would trade him for.
Shooting is,
and where his contracts. Yeah, I mean, we got him on his rookie right now, and you see already where this
shooting
kid's
is priceless,
at.
bro.
Yes,
shooting is priceless, and we already have Bam. So it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking to. I'm just talking to anybody. I'm just I want to hold on to this because, man, this may be a huge diamond in the rough.
But my point is that Bam fits what the Heat is. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's part of the next mantle that passes from UD.
Yeah, Zoe and UD. Yeah, he's like those kind of guys, yes. Pat in Asheville goes, "See ya, folks. Let's go get some GD snacks." That's the old Rex Ryan line from Hard Knocks. Now let's go get a goddamn snack. That is awesome. I think I have it somewhere. I think I have that one. Let me see. Let's see. You got it potted up here? All right, let's see. Snack. Let's where is it? I know I got some Rex ones here that we can play.
3 interceptions, obviously, were backbreakers.
That's right. They're backbreakers. Oh, man, where is he?
There's a lot of things we do differently. That's my responsibility.
I don't know how I labeled it, man. It's my
got outplayed.
Yes, got outplayed. Oh, here we go.
I just want a goddamn snack.
Oh, no, that was a thing that was actually making fun of him, actually. Oh, man. Where do we have it? I don't know.
I looked out there. I was wondering why I wasn't out there myself, so I did not bench Santonio. Maybe you'll have to ask him. I will always chase the Super Bowl. I believe we'll win the Super Bowl, and I will believe it for the next 15 years.
There you go. But you know what Marino says, right?
There's no better feeling in the world than beating the Jets.
That's right. No better feeling in the world than beating the Jets.
I wonder how Bill was chasing a Super Bowl while hanging out at Aqueduct.
Oh, I got it.
Hey, it's Coach Rex.
Oh, no.
Now let's go get a goddamn snack.
Again, this is one that was making fun of him too. Damn, I can't find it. I thought I had the snack one. I think I do. It's hard to just find it, man.
I just want a goddamn snack.
That's all. What can I tell you?
I'm not a loser.
Yeah, yes, you are. You are a loser. There's no doubt about it. All right, I can't find the snack one from the show.
Best place to find a Lombardi trophy is at the racetrack.
Yeah, basically.
If I thought he was going to miss, I wouldn't have called it.
Oh, that's right. I'm with you.
Obviously, a tough loss to explain.
Yes, sure it is. Anyway, we got to wrap it up on the show. We thank Bill and Philippe, as always, getting it done. We had, I think, just one super chat today, Gus1388. We thank you, Gus1388, my brother. Appreciate you.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get the
super chats?
Oh, gnarly! Awesome! Totally awesome!
Lisa, thank you very much for the mask. Julio, thank you for the dolphin mask that you sent me. Thank you very much. That is very, very nice.
Thank you, bro, for the Bears.
That's right.
Blows the one that got me.
Yes. Definitely does, actually. So good job by you, Julio. We thank all of you out there for downloading the show, watching it, sharing the link, giving us a like, whatever it is you do, however it is you do it, to support our show and our what's it called, sponsors. Tomorrow we'll be at VSS West Pines. Come on out. Should be on by around 11:30. I want to be on. So we'll get that done, and we'll have some fun because we got the game tomorrow, too. We got the Inter Miami squad taking on Atlanta United, and let's see if we can make it 2 in a row. Love you all out there. You all be safe. Wear your mask. Thank you for supporting us. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good.